2-1. You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Thursday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the SportsVisions Morning Show. I am Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Daryl DJ Jones, Coach Larry Bush's grandson, the thrifter, Thrift Barringer. Good morning. How are you?
Great morning, DJ. I cannot believe it is already Thursday.
Already on the backside, and one more day and it will be TGIF. But in the meantime, it's of course Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth Day. Of course, we'll have an opportunity to unpack all the happenings and all the meanings and definitions of Juneteenth and what it means. But today is the celebration. June the 19th, a special indeed. And of course, a little bit later in the show, we'll have an opportunity to talk to Miss Candy, and she will give a brief presentation on what Juneteenth is all about. But again, it's also Throwback Thursday, Thrift. And you know what? Speaking of Throwback Thursday, we had an opportunity to go down to Synovus Park yesterday and kind of rehash and, of course, talk about the old times and the beginnings of SportsVisions as we are in the 21st year this summer of the beginning of SportsVisions, as well as, of course, we talked about the beginnings of Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun being at Synovus Park yesterday. Beautiful day, and then we pre-recorded that because it started pouring down rain later on in the day, but it was a lot of fun to be there.
A lot of fun indeed. But first of all, let's say hello to everybody out there in Facebook land. We appreciate you getting up this morning. We are honored to be able to start your day, or at least to help you start your day. And whether you're having a cup of Joe or whether you are, taking your morning walk. I know that a lot of people walk in the mornings this time, and of course they have their earplugs in listening to the show, and we certainly appreciate you for doing that. And of course, all we ask you to do in the meantime is to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend that the SportsVisions Morning Show is on the air now. Our main purpose of being here in the mornings this early to help you start your day is we want to entertain. Of course, we want to educate and inform you on the goings-on in sports. The only live and local sports talk morning show in the region, in the market, in the area, whatever it is. We're the only ones live and local. Don't let anybody fool you. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And for all of our folks out there in WLTC HD2 land, SportsVisions 92.1, we love you, but it ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Hello, somebody. Let's get there. Hey, boy, you had a little bass in that voice this morning.
You got to a little bit.
I tell you, you're down low. But anyway, man, I tell you, it's Thursday, Throwback Thursday, through everything again. You know what? We had news right off the bat. That can you believe that the Los Angeles Lakers are for sale and they have been sold for apparently $10 billion?
That is unbelievable. I saw that Jeannie Buss shared her majority of her shares. She'll still be the governor of the Lakers organization, but she sold a majority of her shares. Never would have thought that would have left the Buss family, but maybe she feels like it's time to move on. I got a championship. I got multiple championships. Let's cut it while it's hot.
Absolutely. And again, obviously, it's back in good hands. Obviously, it might be in even better hands because obviously the Lakers were sold to the majority owner of the Dodgers. So again, he's very familiar with the market, and $10 billion is a blockbuster deal when you consider what Jerry Buss paid for the Lakers back in 1989. And again, I tell you what, what's synonymous with the Lakers and Jerry Buss and the Buss ownership family is that bringing Magic Johnson to L.A., bringing Kobe Bryant, as well as, of course, when you talk about what has happened here recently with, Luka. I mean, these are some superstars that, that we have been, has been synonymous with L.A. And, of course, the owner of the Dodgers, his name escapes me. His name is Walt something. But anyway, he, of course, signing Shohei Ohtani to a huge deal, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. This guy understands it. And from what I understand, of course, the Buss family, were, they weren't big on, going over the tax deal that they have in sports, in professional sports, but he just believes in getting what and paying for what he needs and what he wants to. But we'll have an opportunity to talk more about that a little bit later in the show. But got an exciting lineup for you here again this morning. We're going to be kicking it off about 6:30 with Miss Candy Lowe. My wife will be here to give a presentation on Juneteenth. and of course, let you know what she has going on here in the upcoming months this summer. Also, we have the legendary, iconic Kathy Gierer. And for you folks out there who've been around a little long in the tooth, some of you OGs, you know the name Kathy Gierer if you grew up here in Columbus. She is a legendary sports writer, and of course, has worked in the sports field, in and around sports professional organizations for many, many years. But Kathy will be here to unpack some of that wisdom and knowledge, and sprinkle some of those nuggets, Thrift, that we often like to sprinkle on our SportsVisions Nation.
And that's what we do. And I've heard great things, and I look forward to meeting her for the first time and talking to her for the first time here this morning.
She and her husband, both Larry and Kathy, they were, just synonymous with sports. And again, I'm just eager to catch up with Kathy, as well as to find out how Larry's doing. Also, we have with us, of course, our contributor from the NBA, Sam Mitchell. He's actually got the call the other day. He's going to be flying into Indianapolis this morning, and we're going to be touch and go with him. We hopefully will either get him on the way to the airport or after he is checked in and it's sitting and waiting for his flight. But you know how that is. But so we'll kind of play with that. But we'll have him somewhere between 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30-ish. But we do plan to have Sam, as he will be going to Indianapolis for Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City leads the series 3-2, 1 game away from a championship, Thrift. Now, I have to understand, or at least I have to ask you, is it going to be easy for OKC to go into Indianapolis and get that final game for the championship, or no?
I just feel like OKC's closing it out tonight. After the Pacers blew Game 4, in which that was up for grabs, Halliburton being hurt, I think the Thunder see blood in the water, and they're going to take advantage of it tonight.
All righty. All right. So we'll talk to Sam Mitchell, and again, get him all of his thoughts of the before Game 6, as he will travel to do some duties with the NBA, the former coach and player, the former NBA Coach of the Year 2007, as he was coaching up with the Toronto Raptors. But Sam is born and raised right here in Columbus, Georgia, the pride and joy of Columbus High School. He is a member of the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame, as well as the Mercer Hall of Fame. Of course, one of the best basketball players to have played in that institution in Macon. But looking forward to talking to Sam. Other than that, I tell you, man, we got a lot to unpack. I know that the Braves are, man, they're starting to make a shift. Chris Sale, we know that he will be in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in mid-July, but he had another sensational performance on yesterday, Thrift, with, of course, pitching 8 innings, not giving up a run, shutting out the National League East leading New York Mets.
They made the comeback, and now this is called a winning streak. That's 2 in a row, and who knows, maybe by the end of these 13 games against the Mets, 7 of them, 3 against the Phillies and 3 against the Marlins, that the Braves could be right back in the thick of things when we head into July, which would be awesome for everyone involved.
Absolutely. And again, people are falling off, and it's ironic how we were able to talk about the Braves and beat up on the Braves, but the Yankees are on a losing streak. And again, the Mets, they're not playing as well. Of course, obviously going head to head with Atlanta. They'll go at it again tonight. And I just got a feeling, because the bats are starting to wake up. Matt Olson hit a home run. Of course, Ronald Acuna hit a home run in the victory yesterday. So, again, this could be the rattling of the cage and shaking up and waking up the Braves.
And we've been waiting for this to happen. So we'll see if it translates into being a contender this year. But, hey, 2 wins against a rival that's the leading the division, and division has a division lead of 13 games heading into last night over the Braves. To get back-to-back, that's pretty good.
While we're talking baseball, big shout-out to, of course, LSU. They have made their way into the finals of the College Baseball World Series. And, of course, they're going to be taking on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. What's a Chanticleer?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's
DJ.
a rooster.
Yeah.
A rooster, man. That's unbelievable. But congratulations, of course, to Coastal Carolina. 26 straight victories, man. And over 50 victories for LSU. Just 2 tremendous ball clubs. And, again, LSU beat Arkansas 6-5 to punch their way into the finals. And Coastal Carolina beat Louisville 11-3 to, of course, dance their way into the final. So looking forward on Saturday to Game 1. It's the best of 3. Again, it's always a treat when you make it to not only to the College World Series in Omaha, but when you get to the finals, man, that's where the stars are made.
Well, the hottest team in the country right now is Coastal Carolina. They swept Auburn. They were great in their own regional that they hosted, and now they have not lost a game in the College World Series either. I don't know if LSU's got what it takes, but for I think the quadrillionth year in a row, SEC has a team in the National Championship Series.
Absolutely, and again, that's kind of overbearing when you think about it. But I think that the college baseball enthusiasts, it's no secret that Coastal Carolina has been there. Obviously, this will be their second opportunity. They won their first College World Series in 2016. So again, when you talk about small schools and even on the big picture, I don't know, if this probably ain't nowhere but in baseball that you could get a situation. Well, actually basketball, when you think about it, when the Final Four and in the big what do you call it, the March Madness and all that stuff, the smaller teams get a chance to go at the big boys. But in baseball, it's a little bit different, Thrift, because I don't know why or what the dynamics are, but I'm certainly going to find out as to why we have so many smaller teams, smaller colleges with less budgets that are able to be as competitive as they have been over the years. Because it's not strange to see a smaller school that goes up against the big powers of an SEC school in the championship.
Yeah, exactly. And their coach Shatnell is trying to win a championship for the first time at Coastal Carolina. He just took over. But you're right, the SEC has just dominated college baseball over the years, and no conference has won a national championship since 2018. That's 8 years. No, there was none in the COVID year 2020, but from 2019, 2021, 22, 23, 24, and now this year, potentially, the SEC's won every national championship.
Every national championship. I tell you, it's really impressive that LSU actually won 50 games, I believe. It's something of that nature. But I tell you what, don't have any good news for the Columbus Clingstones. Got swept yesterday in Birmingham, unfortunately. But, again, they got another game tonight to end that series. They'll finish up on Sunday. So, again, they had to play a double hitter yesterday. Got taken back because they got rained out when Birmingham was here when they got rained out?
Birmingham was here.
And so they played 2 games yesterday and didn't fare so well. But the Clingstones are actually in their division of the Southern League. They're in the basement. They're in 4th place out of 4 teams. And I believe that's called the Southern Division of the Southern League in minor league baseball.
Yes, it's the Southern. Yeah, that's the South Division in the Southern League. And then looking at what that's happening with the Clingstones, they're in the basement. They're in the gutter, and I don't know if they're going to get out. But remember, in minor league baseball, they have a first half champion and they have a second half champion. I really think that's big to say. And if you look at their record right now, 25-37, they are the second worst record in the Southern League.
25-37 right now. And of course, having the opportunity to, of course, be in first place. Biloxi is in first place in the Southern Division of the Southern League. With they've won 40 games and 25 losses. And over on the other side with the Southern League of the North, with Birmingham, who actually is facing the Clingstones right now, they lead that division with 30 victories and 35 losses. So, again, a lot of great baseball left to play for the Clingstones, and I have no doubt that they will make a move towards, of course, trying to go after Biloxi for that lead.
Yeah, Biloxi and Birmingham, is the number 1 team in the North. In the South, it is Biloxi, but with being 13.5 games back, Biloxi has the best record of all the Southern League teams. And right now, the Clingstones are on a 7-game losing streak, DJ. So something's got to give. Hopefully, the Columbus Clingstones can turn it around here in these last 3 games of the series, maybe get on a winning streak and come back home for a big one next week against Knoxville.
Let's go back and let's stay right here with the Atlanta Braves as we say, because obviously they're playing great baseball right now. But Chris Sale had an outstanding game. He's pitched, a shutout, a little over 8 shutout innings, man, against the New York Mets, the team that is in first place in the National League East. And, he didn't give up any runs. Chris Sale's going to the All-Star game. And you know what? Alex Anthopoulos, who is the Braves' the president of operations or general manager, whatever, he's the head guy in charge of all the decisions that are being made in the front office as far as the Braves are concerned. He was asked not too long ago, would Chris Sale be traded near the trade deadline or at the trade deadline? And, he said, absolutely not. Better still, he said, hell no. And you can see why, again, through all the Braves' trials and tribulations, Chris Sale is still the best player. Ronald Acuna is making a claim at that because he's come back in fantastic form. Hit another home run on the other night, and his batting average is outstanding, and he has been very, very good in the outfield and out in right field. So those are the two All-Stars that probably will, and I don't say probably, those guys will represent the Braves at the All-Star game.
As they should, and they've been both consistent. Acuna, I feel like even though he's not played many games, he's come out rocking. It's not been his fault the Braves have sucked since he's come back, because he's actually been on a tear as of recently. So let's hope these guys continue their streak, and the main thing is the Braves keep winning games.
All right, let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 SportsVisions 92.1. This is the SportsVisions Morning Show.
I got my peaches out in Georgia.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the SportsVisions Morning Show. SportsVisions 92.1.
Good Thursday morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. Columbus police say Operation Overlook led to over 200 arrests, including 11 alleged gang members, and helped drive a 30% drop in major crime citywide, marking a strong start to summer crime prevention efforts. Meanwhile, Georgia's gang prosecution unit secured 4 indictments tied to a violent home invasion in Harris County, marking the first gang charges since a full-time prosecutor was assigned to West Georgia. Officials say it's a warning to gangs targeting small communities. With artificial intelligence expected to replace 83 million jobs in the next 5 years, Georgia leaders and CSU stress the importance of preparing students with real-world experience, emotional intelligence, and adaptive skills to build AI-proof careers and thrive in a rapidly changing job market. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Have a great day.
Good Thursday morning. Watch out for areas of patchy fog. That will improve by mid-morning, then a chance for showers and thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon. A little breezy today with a southwest wind, 5 to 10, gusting up to 15. Highs in the low 90s. Tonight we'll drop down into the low 70s, and for your Friday, a stray shower or two possible in the afternoon. Otherwise, a mixture of sun and clouds and hot with highs in the middle 90s. Don't forget, you can stay up to date with your latest forecast by visiting WRBL.com.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I was live streaming makeup tips when my internet went down. My followers were furious, like both of them.
Someone damaged the gas line and our service was turned off for safety. Now my chili is ruined and I'm simmering.
As she was digging into my chocolate delight, someone dug through a water main. No water,
No bath.
no delight.
All because my neighbor didn't contact 811.
Be a good neighbor and contact 811 before digging.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
If it's local, it's on the SportsVisions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Happy Juneteenth and welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Thrift. I tell you again, rehashing back what we were able to do yesterday morning after leaving the studio, having breakfast and having a nice conversation. Then going over to Synovus Park and on sitting in the Peach Pit and on the beautiful grounds of Synovus Park, and be able to kind of rehash and give a State of the Union as it pertains to SportsVisions, as well as talking about the success of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Again, I just wanted to give the folks a preview of what to watch and have them understand where they can go find it. I know that many of them have already seen it, but for those in the SportsVisions Nation who did not see it just yet, the fact that we were able to kind of rehash and talk a little bit about some of the highlights and, of course, some of the things that we have coming up, I think it's a treat for everybody.
It was, and you can go back and look at it on Georgia Alabama Sports Live Facebook and SportsVisions Facebook and both of our YouTubes as well. 21 years, Thrift, this summer, man, that Dale and I actually started this company, started this business, and we started with a television show. And, we got into the ins and outs of the start, of course, and some of the developments. But, the bottom line is we've lived a dream with regards to having the opportunity to do and produce and do our own television show, radio show, magazine, of course, the events that we've created with the award ceremonies, and again, the many, many other events, from the camps, the clinics, the golf tournaments, the fundraisers that we've been a part of. I mean, it's been a dream come true. It was definitely. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm glad I've been able to be a part of it for these last 5 years, CJ.
And of course, the growth, you asked me a question, is that obviously after, being able to accomplish so much and, hey, man, just being over the moon with joy and satisfaction, what do I look forward to now? And again, basically, it's almost like being an uncle or being a father to see, how the people that have come into our lives, come into our SportsVisions projects, and have been able to grow and go off and do other things and become successful. And again, most recently with you and the phenomenon that you've built, streaming the sports here in locally, that's been, those are the things that now I look to more so than what I have for personal gains. And of course, what SportsVisions is all about. SportsVisions is the development of you, the development of Rachel Barbeau, the development of a lot of young people who have been a part of our experience, who have gone on to greener pastures.
Yeah, exactly. And we are all appreciative of the guidance and the mentorship that we've been able to get through SportsVisions.
Absolutely. But, going back to those, it's Throwback Thursday. So again, I have to go back, and we made, and also in the conversations that we had on the show, we made reference to our early beginnings, our first opportunities in radio. And I want to do that right now. We have a few minutes here before we go to our first guest. But, again, it's no secret that I grew up playing, playing ball in the streets with my buddies in the neighborhood in Buena Vista Estates. But after playing street football or basketball out in the backyard or baseball, I would go and emulate some of the announcers that I admired on television at that particular time. I pick up a mop stick, or I get my mom's brush and use it as a microphone. I get in the mirror and I just, imitate or emulate, try to do what I saw those guys and hear it sound like they sounded. So that was kind of like in my backpack from the very beginning. So it was no secret that that's what I wanted to accomplish and wanted to be growing up as a broadcaster, a professional broadcaster, and in addition to being a professional athlete. But my first opportunity when I came back to Columbus in 1997, my first professional opportunity on the radio. Again, I skipped over Georgia, but we did do radio at Georgia, at the University of Georgia, WUOG 90.5 FM, and had a show there for several years. But my first professional experience when I came home in 97, did a sports talk show. And it probably was the first live and local sports talk show of its time, of its kind here in Columbus, Georgia. In 1997, Mike V and I had a hell of a run. Many folks that I see in the streets, in the community today, they talk about those days with Mike V. Mike V was a phenomenal sports talk host and Boston guy, Boston accent. And I'm a Southern boy, had gone off and played in the several different levels. And, we would go at it. And I called it the Oprah Winfrey for men, the Oprah Winfrey show for men, because we would go back and forth. And he would just fly off the handle. But you know what? We made a name for ourselves. Mike went on to, of course, went to a bigger station in Montgomery. And of course, had some wonderful, he was also the voice of the Cottonmouths.
Yep.
During that time. And man, I tell you, that was a tremendous run, but you also shared your early beginnings.
Yeah. And obviously, being able to hear that and understanding what the history behind sports talk radio in this area, DJ, and getting that aspect, I've really thoroughly enjoyed understanding the history behind all of it. But yeah, I started here in 2019 at PNB and got an opportunity in 2020 to become the producer here at SportsVisions. And the rest has really been history. I really do appreciate you, DJ, even with Dale going out sick, allowing me to step in and help out any way you need me to see fit. And I've been a part of a crazy run. And guess what? We're still going now with the entire sports radio station here in 92.1.
You know what, though? You left off a little bit of your history, man, which is, quite incredible in the very beginnings. You worked with some people. You worked at some stations, some other personalities. So go ahead and share that information and maybe even the years and times, because I'm sure that some of those people that listened to you when you were working with some of those other folks in the past remember those days.
So 2013, intern with Bobby Z in the press box over at a different station. He had a sports talk and was able to work with him for a little bit. But when I was at CSU, also met Josh Pate through there and worked with Josh Pate for a couple years as well before WCUG, which is Cougar Radio for Columbus State University, came out in 2015. I was the first voice on that and helped it get started under Dr. Gibson's tutelage and Chris Robinson, and got that off and running, and we've had fun ever since, DJ. So did that for 4 years and got an opportunity to come here to PNB, and Dave Arwood allowed me to get on the radio, do some remotes, get my feet wet, but sports has always been the calling. So when the opportunity to produce for SportsVisions came about, going back to those Josh Pate and Bobby Z days, I had to get back on it, man.
I hear you, man. I tell you what, when we had the opportunity to meet you, several years back when Dave Arwood brought you and introduced you and said, hey, this guy wants to do sports. And, again, not knowing anything about you, the fact of the matter that you were Coach Bush's grandson, that put you in front of the line with me. And, of course, as you learned a lot about what our style and what we were trying to do. And again, you just fit right in. And of course, you were able to do it. Wasn't anything we could ask you to do that you wouldn't. And the most important thing about it, you were eager, you were hungry, you were talented, and of course, gifted with, this voice. And I just appreciate everything, along the way. And again, even now with what you do and what you've developed with the streaming service. And for that matter, we got a few more minutes to talk about. I don't think that people understand how great of an opportunity that you've presented for yourself. And you gave great homage to some of the people that start streaming before you that maybe they weren't as popular, but that helped give you some of the understanding and to help pave the way.
Yeah. So for one, Toygar Isla, Chris Gates, they've been doing this with Beam. So when I partnered with them back in 2023, the first year Georgia Alabama Sports Live started, they brought a plethora of knowledge and insight that I had no idea when getting into the streaming business. But locally, guys like Terrence Flowers, who have been streaming for a while now, kind of opened the doors for people to realize, hey, we can watch local high school sports live and keep up with them. We don't have to just go to the game, or if we miss the game, or if we're at another game and we want to keep up with what's going on. So I saw that and felt like that's something that I wanted to do with the play-by-play. And now the amount of coverage and stuff like that, I feel like we really have just advanced and taking it to another level right now. And I appreciate everyone that's on the team. But if it wasn't for Terrence kind of getting these ADs already on board a little bit about, hey, if you stream, it's still not going to take away from people coming to the game. People are going to show up to the game no matter what. This is for people that can't make it or out of town, relatives, coaches, for recruiting. And they started understanding that. And I appreciate Terrence and CGY.
Shout out to Coach T-Flow and, of course, Doc and Money Boy. I mean, all of those guys, they were there. And, again, back in the days when we had all the big setup going over to Memorial Stadium and up, of course, even up at to Connect Stadium, lugging around all that equipment through in the early days, man. And even, some of the championship games that we called, of course, Calvary Christian being one that really sticks out in my mind is that, times have certainly changed. Obviously, the dynamics, the production, the clarity, the audio, everything is on the next level. And again, thanks to those guys that you mentioned. And we'll be looking forward to much, much more.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why we continue to grind and do what we do. And we appreciate the support everyone gives us, especially here in the morning when we get you started every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. You are watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2, SportsVisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is SportsVisions 92.1.
Georgia, attorney 770, good law car accident lawyers. Paid after dramatization. Top dog does not mean we are the best. No guarantees of success.
You wake your wife up. Just had a crazy dream. You're trying to tell her about it. She had sleep. You telling her you gotta get up. You gotta listen to this dream. This may be a sign. I was driving in a dream and a car came out of nowhere, hit me head-on collision. Guy got out of his car, I got out of my car. All of a sudden, dog run up to him, start biting him. You wouldn't let go. Person screaming, saying, "Let me go. Top dog, please, let me go." Not gonna believe this. It was Top Dog. Seen him in the flesh. It was Top Dog. Guy was offering money and everything, saying, "Whatever you want, please, just let me go." Every time he said a number, Top Dog bit him again, until he heard the number that he wanted, and then he let him go. It was Top Dog. Any accident, Top Dog law.
You guys just didn't want it bad enough. That should have been an easy win. What were you doing out there? You got to hustle. You could have made that play if you'd been open.
On the car ride home after the game, when you think you're helping by telling me what I did wrong and what I need to work on, all I hear is that I'm not good enough, that I'm supposed to be perfect, that it's not okay to lose. On the car ride home, all I need to hear is how much you love me and enjoy watching me play, that my worth isn't determined by my performance, that even on my worst day, I am worthy, that you see me learning, growing, and doing my best. And that is enough.
This message presented by the GHSA and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
Employee pricing for all is still going strong at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Through July 7th, we're extending your opportunity to pay what we pay across the entire lineup of in-stock Ford trucks and SUVs. Tap into the powerful capabilities of any 2024 Ford F-150 with financing as low as 3.9 APR for 72 months, plus up to $2,750 in retail bonus cash and $1,000 trade assistance on top of already low employee pricing. Or take the whole family on epic adventures with employee pricing on all 2024 Ford Expeditions. Unlock even more unbelievable savings with up to $4,000 customer cash plus 2 years or 24,000 miles prepaid maintenance as you travel in style and comfort. From America, for America. Get outstanding Ford performance at employee prices with Rivertown Ford in our showroom or online at rivertownford.com. Offer ends July 7th, 2025. Not all buyers will qualify. See dealer for complete details.
You're waking up with a SportsVisions morning show on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Thursday morning and happy Juneteenth Day. Miss Candy Lowe will be joining us at about 6:45 to, of course, give us a brief presentation on, of course, the experience, the meaning of course, Juneteenth, and, of course, all of the things that dealt with emancipation and all the good things, of course. Happy Juneteenth Day is commemorative of the ending to slavery, and we'll have her to give a little bit more insight and, of course, talk about some of the celebrations that'll be going on. But Thrift, I wanted to talk a lot. I wanted to, talk a little bit more about this big blockbuster sale, the big blockbuster news. Never thought. I know that everything is about business, but I never imagined the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers would be for sale. I never thought that. Here it is, just ironically, during the NBA Finals, that the word came out that the Buss family will be selling the Lakers. And of course, when you think about, again, an investment, just listen to this for just for a second. Mr. Buss bought the Lakers in 1979 for like $67 million and some change. He's transferring, he's selling it to Mr. Walters for $10 billion. Now, again, 1979 was not too long ago, although, again, when you think about $67 million that he purchased it for, and he's selling it today for $10 billion. Well, Jeannie Buss is anyway, the family.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. Seeing how they turned this into a major asset, and what he did in changing the NBA into an entertainment. I'm reading a book called Showtime by Jeff Pearlman, and talks about Jim Buss, Dr. Buss, buying the Lakers in '79 from Mr. Cook. Jack Kent Cook, who was the original owner of the Lakers, and how he introduced the Laker girls and Showtime and wanting fun basketball. The Lakers won 5 championships in the 80s. They won 5 more from 2000 to 2010. And then, of course, the COVID year, LeBron got a championship. So 11 since the Buss family took over. What a run. What a ride. Obviously, Dr. Buss has been gone for several years now, and Jeannie did a good job, much better than her buffoon brother, who I think ruined Kobe Bryant's career. And I think Stephen A. Smith agrees with me. Jim Buss, just an absolute goober. But Jeannie took over and has done a great job these last couple of years, at least bringing a championship. But $10 billion, a lot of money, DJ.
Mark Walter is the majority owner of the Dodgers, and he will be the majority owner. And that's who Jeannie Buss is in the family selling it to. And again, Mark, he's a Northwestern guy. He's an attorney. A very successful guy. Again, he had a piece of the Lakers. I think he had about 27% or something of that nature of the Lakers, but he was had a minority interest. But the fact of the matter is that, again, I was starting to think, before the name Walter came up, I was thinking about Magic Johnson because of his transition and his business acumen and all the things that he had valued and invested in since he retired from the NBA. And I was thinking automatically, man, Jeannie's got to sell this to somebody that's associated with Magic Johnson. And lo and behold, Magic is a minority owner with the Dodgers, with Mr. Walter. And it's just it's ironic that they're going to keep the team in LA. But let's talk about specifically the Buss-owned Lakers. And I may mention early on in the show that they brought Magic Johnson to, of course, LA, and of course they brought Kobe Bryant to LA, and again they brought LeBron James, and of course Luka most recently. But again, they're not as synonymous as to spending money as some of the other, and not worrying about that little tax deal that they have. But this guy, Walter, Mr. Walter, Mark Walter is his name. He obviously brought Shohei Ohtani to the Dodgers, and again, I know that they don't have a salary cap in baseball, but the fact of the matter, Mookie Betts gave with the big contract. Freddie Freeman, also a big name. So this guy taking over the Lakers, I see him sparing no expense to make sure that he is going to set himself up to win another NBA championship, another NBA championship for the franchise. And how many championships is that? Is that 10, 11 championships that the Lakers have won since 1989 through?
Yeah, so since 1979, 11 championships they've been able to win. 5 in the 80s, 5 in the 2000s, and then 1 here in the 2020. So incredible run you've seen from those Lakers. They also got 1 under Jack Kent Cook before that. So they have 12 total They have actually 17 as a franchise, but I do not count the 5 they got in Minneapolis because that was in a completely different city. So since LA, they have 12, now 11 coming under Dr. Buzz. Ginny will be still the governor of the Lakers for the next few years, but I think that's just all in say because Mark Cuban was supposed to be that same having that same role. And you saw he had nothing to do with the Luka Doncic trade. So I think that's just all for talk because once this deal goes through, Mark Walters is going to want to have a major say-so on what's going on.
Absolutely. But again, day-to-day operations. And again, when you talk about basketball operations and all, the owners and, I'd be curious to talk to. And matter of fact, when we get Sam on, he's a guy that has been in that circle, been in that space, experienced life in the NBA as a player as well as a coach. But, I'm curious, and I never really asked the question is how does the ownership in the front office, how did they get involved with, and I know scouting and making major decisions and making major hires and purchases, they sign off on it. But how involved do, the ownership's groups and the families are how involved? Like Jeannie with her, what decisions would Jeannie come in? How does she make a decision? Does she decide whether they're going to, purchase or agree to the naming rights of this arena or, just exactly, and just get a better understanding because as far as X's and O's and player personnel and all of that stuff, I know that they have a staff that does that, but does ultimately how many owners that really want to walk in the room and say, hey, look, I want this guy right here and I want him here now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm wondering too, DJ, and who has the power to be able to do that as well in this organization. And what's going to be some of the moves? Is LeBron going to be staying there? Is Walters want him? Does he want to just go ahead and start focusing on Luka? Are they trying to win for next year? Are they building for the future? This is kind of the mindset. But if you got $10 billion, makes you think you'll buy a championship and go out and get the biggest and baddest, like the Lakers have done for several years under Mr. Buss.
Help me out because I'm lost. I thought maybe, it was at once upon a time you could not own multiple sports teams. Now I'm seeing that more and more, especially with this particular purchase, here Mark Walters is going to be, buying the Lakers and he owns the Dodgers. So, what kind of monopoly would that be?
That's a good point. And think if they're the two of the biggest franchises in each respective sport. And also, Paul Allen, remember, he used to own the Seahawks and then the Portland Trailblazers as well. We've seen the New Orleans Saints owners. They also own the New Orleans Pelicans as well. So we've seen quite a few. But at this type of conglomerate of Lakers and Dodgers, you can't have more. That's like having Cowboys and the Knicks almost, man. That's just huge.
Yes, it is. But, I tell you, man, like I said, Thrift, that money is astronomical when you start thinking about the people at the table. Again, you're talking about a $10 billion acquisition or it just blows mind-boggling. You think about I can't even think about of $1 million acquisition, but these guys are on another level. And again, it's a lot of people involved as well. And, the other part of that is that obviously you might hear about majority owner and minority owner. It takes a group of folks again to generate in a lot of cases the numbers to outright purchase some of these ball clubs. Now, I'm not talking from experience, but I do know that based on what I've learned and what I've researched over the past few years, a lot of the minority or the African American ownership stake are the minority pieces, which makes sense. And of course, they might have anywhere from 1 or 2 to 3 to 4% of the piece of the pie. And, in a lot of sense, that's significant, but it's not the majority. Obviously, in any other business, if you, if 51% if you have 51% of the ownership, you are you make the decisions. You are the majority owner. So again, that's my little 2 cents on that. But the fact of the matter is that the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm looking for them, this move will take them, believe it or not, to the next level because you now have a guy that spares no expense. Mark Walters has proven that he will make or release, open up the purse strings and get whatever's needed to be. And of course, you see that with the Dodgers, with Shohei Ohtani, as I mentioned, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and others. So I can imagine what's going to happen with the Los Angeles Lakers basketball team and, of course, their front office attracting the stars to, of course, Tinseltown.
Yeah. Exactly. And you're going to need some elite talent to put alongside Luka and LeBron, but you're going to have to spend money. And again, when you get a new owner coming in, you've seen it, that new owner syndrome, kind of like Matt Ishby of the Suns, and he goes out and immediately trades Mikal Bridges and everything known to man for Kevin Durant. I'm seeing potentially the Lakers maybe doing that. That's why I think it is important Jeannie Buss is still the governor. So this owner doesn't come in and just start freaking out. But he did own the Dodgers, so he does understand owning an organization, and you don't just come in and blow it up the first 3 months you're on the job.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's go ahead and take a short break. You are watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, SportsVisions 921. We are your hometown sports guys.
I got a condo in Manhattan. Baby girl, what's happening? You and your then ride it. So gonna get to clapping. Go pop it for a plan. Pop it for me. Turn around and drop it for a plan. Drop it for me.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the SportsVisions Morning Show. SportsVisions 92.1.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Minor League Baseball is back in Columbus. Catch Clingstone's baseball every night on SportsVisions 92.1. Your home for the SportsVisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer, the Dan Patrick Show, The Herd with Colin Cowherd, and the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you're looking for furniture, you need to shop Gorey's Furniture Express. It's the largest furniture store around with over 106,000 square feet of in-stock merchandise with new shipments arriving weekly. Locally owned and operated with everything you need from rugs to recliners to sofas and more. And that's only at Gorey's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's three-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion, DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Wait till I get my money right.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Happy Juneteenth Day. Yes, indeed. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring her on. My wife, Miss Candy Lowe, and, of course, to talk about Juneteenth and what it means to everybody. Good morning. How are you, honey?
Good morning, guys.
Good to see you. Good to see you. It's a little early for you this morning, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, happy Juneteenth. And, for the folks out there that know what it's all about, and for the folks that in the SportsVisions Nation that have no idea what's going on, can you give us a brief presentation on Juneteenth and what it means to you, what it means to me, what it means to everybody?
Well, I want to say thank you, guys, and I love you guys both. I was struggling this morning, but when I saw you said, you both said, let's go. I said, get up, let's go. But, DJ, I've been a part of Juneteenth events for now 12 years. Started with Reverend Dixon in Tampa with the first Juneteenth event that I had ever been a part of. Didn't have a clue what Juneteenth was until he started talking about it, and we started having events in the city of Tampa. But we, people that have been doing their research, knowing about Juneteenth and how important, this is what I've said from day one, is we cannot have Juneteenth without having a couple minutes to talk about why we are having Juneteenth. I've celebrated the 4th of July my entire life, but if we stop the mic, why are we supporting 4th of July? What is 4th of July about? And most times people cannot tell you why we are celebrating anything. So we know that in Gaston, Texas, when they finally found out that they were free June 9th of 1865, when other people was already free in our country, free from slavery, they started celebrating, way back. in Galveston, Texas, they've been celebrating for years. They've been celebrating for years. It just kind of trickled down in other areas. Other areas knew about it and was celebrating. But we also know that our President Biden decided that he would make it a federal holiday. And I think it's the 15th holiday, federal holiday in the United States. And he signed that into bill in June of 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really excited about Juneteenth. You know how I am about these type things. So I had on my Juneteenth gear all week long, getting my mind into that. You know, even the food, there's different types of food that people eat during Juneteenth that is not that we normally eat, like for the 4th of July. I love 4th of July. I can't wait to the 4th of July. But this is like an independent holiday. It's a National Independent Act Day that was put into law by the president. So I think that people across the country that are getting it, and there's a lot of people that are not celebrating. They're not even recognizing Juneteenth. But I'm happy that here in the state of in Columbus, there's a number of events that are going on that you and I did get a chance to look at for Juneteenth. But I just love Juneteenth. I love the colors. I love the spirit. I love the gathering. I love the educational part of it. And again, I don't think we should have a holiday definitely with children in it. You know, we say the children don't know, but a lot of times the grown folk don't know. But when you are having these events, making sure that you cut the mic and someone gets on the mic and talk about why we're doing what we're doing. And then we won't be 20, 30, 40 years down the line and saying, you know what? We don't even know why we're doing this. We just get together every year and that's that.
Yeah, we don't want it to be commercialized. I'm glad you brought that up. And we've
Correct.
seen that with Christmas. We see that with Easter. We've seen that with a lot of the holidays that we've had. And July 4th, it is not about celebrating Independence Day. It's more about getting burgers and drinking, going out in the lake, getting around the pool. You want to make sure that doesn't happen. So how do we go about educating and stuff when we do these events? Yes, we want to have fun, but there's got to be a purpose behind the events as well than just going and the camaraderie, drinking, eating, and all that stuff.
Correct. And I'm every single Juneteenth that I have ever participated in, even the ones DJ and I have participated in here in Columbus, there's an education component has to be placed in there. So even the ones that we have done here, I mentioned to DJ, listen, I think I'm going to ask the host, the people that put this Juneteenth event on, if I can let everyone know why we're doing this. And I did, and they allowed me to do so. They allowed me to do so because we had children around. We had older people that are around that probably had never heard of Juneteenth. And why are we celebrating Juneteenth? And what are all these colors about? So I do think that it's important that we do that, and it's not so commercialized. And this is one of the first holidays in a long, long time that we can start with Juneteenth by doing that.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Now, Candy, you know, for the sake of time, we have an opportunity to talk, express, and share with everybody what's on your calendar with regards to the Black Business Bus Tour and the Black Business Hall of Fame down in Tampa. So I'll give you that opportunity to say what's on the calendar for the upcoming summer months.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Actually, next Saturday, June 28th, we will be celebrating 20 years of tea and conversation.
Wow.
DJ has had a chance to go to a number of tea and conversations. So I'm really proud of that because I know people don't stick to many things, 20 minutes, 20 days, 20 hours, 20 months. So being able to really push through all these years for tea and conversation where we bring our community together with elected officials, with candidates, with community concerns, just a whole lot of topics over the years. And I cannot wait because we have a number of people that will be coming back to tea and conversation that had not been there in quite some time. We have our judge buddies. I think we have about 16 judges that have said that they will be back at Tea and Conversation, DJ.
Wow.
Yeah, 16 judges, and there's about 4 state representatives that will be there. We're still seeing if Congresswoman Kathy Gierer, I sent a message to her. So we have a lot of people that will be there. And then we have our Black Business Hall of Fame. It's our 2nd year. I'm excited about that as well. We have 5 businesses, and all of them have been in business for over 40 years. Over 40 years. So I'm excited about that. And it's August 9th in the city of Tampa. Then the Black Business Bus Tour is in September.
Good deal. Very well. Thank you so much, honey, for coming on board. And we appreciate all of that knowledge, dropping those nuggets. Indeed.
Yeah. Happy Juneteenth, Aunt Candy.
Thank you, nephew. Thank you, honey. Thanks for letting me come on for a few minutes.
Have a great rest of your morning.
Bye-bye.
Take care. All right. That's Miss Candy.
And by the way, Sandra Vett Shelton says, Juneteenth fun fact, Columbus, Georgia learned their freedom April 16th, 1865.
Yes,
Thank you for that knowledge, and keep commenting, and happy Juneteenth to everybody out there.
Absolutely. Hey, let's go ahead and take another break. And when we come back, we'll have the great Kathy Gierer.
That's her.
Right here on the Sports Visions Morning Show. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
I can't wait till I get you on the floor.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Everything is expensive right now. Gas, food, you name it. You're spending more, you are making the same or less money. So what do? You rack up credit card debt. That's what you do. It's not your fault. It's the economy. And guess what? If you rack up too much credit card debt like some of us, you can't pay your bills. Then the credit card companies, as nice as they are, start hounding you for money. Then you start your downward spiral. A smart thing for you to do is to call the Zero Debt. They can help you consolidate all your credit card bills into one affordable payment. Millions of people have done it. It works to make you debt-free. Make this free call right now. It costs you nothing to learn more.
800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. That's 800-628-5675.
Employee pricing for all is still going strong at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Through July 7th, we're extending your opportunity to pay what we pay across the entire lineup of in-stock Ford trucks and SUVs. Tap into the powerful capabilities of any 2024 Ford F-150 with financing as low as 3.9 APR for 72 months, plus up to $2,750 in retail bonus cash and $1,000 trade assistance on top of already low employee pricing. Or take the whole family on epic adventures with employee pricing on all 2024 Ford Expeditions. Unlock even more unbelievable savings with up to $4,000 customer cash plus 2 years or 24,000 miles prepaid maintenance as you travel in style and comfort. From America, for America. Get outstanding Ford performance at employee prices with Rivertown Ford in our showroom or online at rivertownford.com. Offer ends July 7th, 2025. Not all buyers will qualify. See dealer for complete details.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the GHSA and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now. Without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99. Become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at Northlake in Columbus. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. Weight loss seminars at 5:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions Morning Show. Let's get back to DJ and Thrift on Sports Visions 92.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Miss Candy Lowe, giving us all the understanding and information on Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Throwback Thursday. And speaking of Throwback Thursday, we're going to throw it way back. One of the sports writers with the Ledger Enquirer, longtime bookkeeper for some of the professional organizations, Miss Kathy Gierer. Well, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Daryl. Thrift, how are y'all?
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you for waking up this morning with us on the Sports Vision Morning Show. I know that it's early, but, again, I got a feeling that you one of those who had one of those early risers.
Well, before I retired, yes. But usually it's just about 7:30. So I'm not going to stay in the bed all day. I got things to do.
Absolutely. Kathy, let's do this because obviously this is going to be a teaching session and you're going to be dropping so many nuggets and wisdom along the way as we ask you questions about your elaborate career. Again, one of the things that I tried to explain to you when we were booking this interview is that, you know me, I was born and raised here. You covered me a long, long time ago. And so you know a lot more about me than most. You even called me by my government name that not many people do anymore in Daryl. But the fact of the matter is that you are a treasure. And again, anybody that's involved in athletics had been around as long as you and as much good that you have done, not only for this community, but the student athletes as well. I want to give you your flowers while you're still here to receive them. And that's another reason why we're paying homage to you this morning. So by all means, don't think that you're bragging because, the bottom line is you're sharing. There's a lot of people out there that know this information, but there's a lot of people listening this morning that might not know about you and all the great things that you have been able to accomplish. And we want to thank you for that right now.
Thank you so much. I sure do appreciate it. What a nice way to start the day.
Absolutely. So let's go back in time. Let's go way back for those OGs. And so some of us who are a little long in the tooth, let's talk about where it all started. Of course, where you went to school, where you grew up, and some of the influences that poured into your life to make you become the woman that you are today.
Well, I'm the oldest of 8. And I would always like to say I was Daddy's first son. I got my love of sports from him. And if we're going to go way back, we'll go to where I was about 8 years old. And my 2 next sisters in line and I were privileged to have Daddy take us to Connie Mack Stadium to see the Phillies play.
Wow.
That's where my love of baseball started. I would watch football with them. And then he was a plant manager for Continental Can Company, and we were all born in Pennsylvania. But as I like to say, we got out as soon as we could. No, I'm just kidding. I love the South. I've been here since I was 13. So Daddy got a promotion. We moved to Texas and then eventually here. And I've been here since I was 18. I chose to stay here. We chose to raise our children here. I have a special needs son, and the school district was fantastic and instrumental in making him the man he is today. And Larry, my husband, worked for the newspaper for 43 years, covering high school sports, and that's how we met. I had covered, I started in sports locally with Little League. I know you know Jimmy Lester.
Yes, I do.
So the Lester family lived across the street from us. And Johnny, the middle of the three boys, Clint, Johnny, and Jimmy, and then Joey was the baby. But Johnny was playing Babe Ruth Little League, Babe Ruth, and he was 13 and riding the bench. And so he comes running across the street one day and says, "I'm in the lineup tonight. Will you come?" Because I'd been encouraging him and said, "You'll get your turn. You'll get your turn." And they both played on Kendrick's state championship team.
Yes.
So that's how I got started. I ended up room mother for his team. I was 23 years old and single. And and then later I was the official scorer for the whole league. Taught myself to score a game. And so I would do a bunch of call-ins from tournaments to the newspaper, Ledger Inquirer. And I decided, you know what? I can do other stuff. So I marched myself down there, and Sam Hayes was the editor then. And I said, I would really like to write. And he said, what do you want to do? Stay in the office or go out and cover stuff? I said, I definitely want to go out and cover stuff. So September 1977, I started.
Wow.
And Larry worked for the Ledger, and we were assigned for the same game. And that's when we started dating. Married a year later.
Wonderful.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I do want to ask, where did the love for sports? It obviously came from your dad, but what about covering and being a journalist? Where did that come from? Why'd you want to dive into that?
Yeah, I don't know. My husband did it, and I would watch a game and, notice who had a big night. And I would notice, of course, I loved the thrill of victory games, the agony of defeat games. Worst prep game I ever had was when Kendrick tied for the state championship. And I'm on the sidelines, and I go up to one of my pals, one of the assistant coaches, and I said, well, so what's the format? Hoping it wasn't penetrations, the most asinine thing I've ever seen. But anyway, and he said, Kathy, there is no tiebreaker. It ends in a tie. And I see these giant linemen coming. The players didn't know. They were told on the field, this is it. Tears just streaming down their face. So I talked to Busby, the coach, and I said, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. He said, Kathy, they're upset now. But one day they'll be happy to have a share of this championship. And he's right. They still tout that as, So anyway, to answer your question, I've always liked to write. And my daddy said, never do anything, never criticize anybody unless you could do better. Well, I'm not saying I could do better, but I think I could do as well. And I thought high school sports would be I never had any aspirations to do anything beyond that. And I did that for years and years and years until I covered hockey. I did that for 10 years.
Wonderful. We'll have an opportunity to talk about that as well. But, in back in the day when you were covering us, who were some of the athletes that you mentioned of Jimmy, but so who are some of the athletes, the great athletes that some of your favorites to cover?
Definitely easy. Jeremy Williams, the nicest, most polite yes ma'am to me to death, and Max Strong.
Nice.
Max Strong, to this day, is the only prep athlete I have ever interviewed after a loss.
Wow.
But it was the end of his Brookstone career. I knew I had to. I interviewed the coaches. I'm like, you know what? They're paid. They're not 17 years old. They deserve to deal with me. But he was the only one I ever did. He was so great. I covered Frank Thomas.
Yes.
Never interviewed him. I covered Isaiah. And, you just don't know at the time. These guys are going to be good, but you never realize you got Jarvis.
Right.
Jarvis Jones. Jarvis was a great interview. One of my favorite interviews of all time was Frank Watts. You know Frank.
Oh, yeah.
He went to Baker.
Mm-hmm. He did.
And his name just escaped me. The other one that was Frank was always very gregarious, gave me detailed, well thought out answers. And then his teammate, who was also great, would just mumble.
Wasn't Gary Ingram, was it?
No, of course I did him too. Yeah. And I didn't do as much baseball later on because I started working at Golden Park 2 years after I started working at the Ledger. And I was a teacher in full life and I had 2 kids.
Kathy, talk a little bit about the bookkeeping there. You had a long stint. And again, I don't know, you work for several organizations, but talk about that experience.
Well, I spent 28 years at Golden Park. I got a call in 79 from Jim Koger, who was the GM at the time. And at the time, a conglomerate of 10 men owned the Astros. And Dayton Preston was one, and the world-renowned Dr. Andrews was another. And they each put in $10,000. Just think about this in terms of today's money. So Jimmy Deere, you heard his name in local radio.
Yes.
Jimmy Deere was the morning guy on the radio, and he was official scorer. Well, if you can imagine some of those long nights at Golden Park and getting up and being on the radio every day at dawn, he just was like, I need help. So I was his, we split the homestand. We had 8-game homestands at that point. It was brutal. But anyway, I was thrilled. So I started them, worked for the Astros. 2 years of them were the Mudcats. One of the greatest things to ever happen. We had real baseball. We had mom and pop before. I mean, we had a very small staff. We had no crowds. But when the Mudcats came, we had the chicken. We had bat night. We had all kinds of great things. Staff shirts and walkie-talkies. I mean, we hit the big time. So then they moved to Carolina. Steve Bryant owned them, and he had kept them here 2 years, and they're still in Carolina. And I don't know if he still owns them. He was a great owner, though, for me. He left me alone, and most everybody did once they saw I knew my job. So then came the Indians in 91. John Dietrich was I called him a ringmaster. He was the opposite of me in every way that could be, in that I'm a planner. I know how many blades of grass there are from here that I have to walk over. And he was deciding the morning of game day, well, let's do this and let's do that. But he was a great GM. And then entered Charlie Morrow.
Yes.
Charlie bought the team around in 94. Don't check these dates, Daryl. Around in 94. And he really taught me the value of local ownership. And that's, right now I know the Klingstones have corporate ownership, and this is our first experience with that. We had absentee owners. We had a funeral director in Ohio. We had a quirky businessman down in Florida, but there's nothing like your owner coming every night, standing down the first base side. There's a little place that kind of, y'all have probably shot from there in the past. It's a little half circle that overlooks. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Charlie would have his beer in his hand, and he would be there every night.
Yeah.
And he was out at Kiwanis and at Rotary. He was everywhere promoting this team. And then, of course, he became ill. We went to CSU for a whole year now, which personally was great for me because the game was over at 10:30 and I was home at 10:35.
Okay.
But there was nothing like having open windows and people coming up, and I felt like saying, you know, you want fries with that. It was just different. And I liked it and I love hate. So then we ended up going with the Dodgers. Spent a few years with Dodgers, few years with Tampa.
Nice.
But I know 3 managers in the major leagues now that were here. Torey Lovullo's with the Diamondbacks, Matt Quintero with Kansas City, and the best story of all is Stephen Vogt with Cleveland and whatever they call themselves now. I knew Stephen as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen went straight from playing to managing.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even coach, which is kind of amazing. Best personality. I can see why he did well. So it was a lot of fun. In the old days, we had to make a phone call after every half inning and give them basically the line score for that inning, runs, hits, and errors, and confirm the score. So I got to be big pals with the people in New York. Started out being Hal Sports Data. Now it's Hal Sports International. And the guy, I meant to look up his name so I could tell you. The guy that was one of the night guys when I started is now president of the company. The whole
wow,
company.
nice.
So I would talk to them, and the year 2006, when our Little Leaguers won the World Series, those guys were so funny. They had such thick accents. Oh, Kathy, your team, they're doing great. I said, I know, I'm only going to win one more. So they told me, now I can't prove this, but I like to tell people because I think it's very probable. They saw scores from all over. I was the first woman official scorer in professional baseball.
I believe it.
And yeah, there just weren't, they're PA announcers, there are radio people, but back then, no. And surprisingly, it was not the challenge that I was braced for. I was never disrespected except by one manager, and I fixed him. I called the Cleveland Indians on him.
Okay.
And said he was a bully. And Neil Huntington, who was the vice president of something, said, oh, I don't know if I would call him a bully. I said, you don't have to. I just did. So he came storming up to the press box one day, big no. And so I said, I'm not taking this. I stood up for myself, but I very rarely had to. Really, I sat down with every manager, and this manager was not listening to me. He was looking at his players, and he was sitting right next to me in the dugout. And I knew then he wasn't listening to me. But anyway, I would tell him, that I'm employed by the league and I can't have another team, which they hated this. I can't have another team leave this league and feel like they've been screwed over by the scorer and cheated. And I found in my job, there were very, 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 very few, hardly any, that really could go either way. And I said, you know what? I give gifts at Christmas, but don't be thinking that just because I'm from here and, I'm going to give y'all stuff because I just can't. My conscience won't let me do that.
Yeah. And
they were fine with it. They were fine.
And I got to ask, Miss Kathy, we had Mike Peacock on yesterday. He talked about you were able to do that for the Columbus State Cougars too. When you're doing official scoring, how important is it? You made mention, you're the one ruling if it's a hit. You're the one ruling if it's an error. How did you go about that process? Did you ask people advice? Is it a gut instinct? How do you go about when you're doing official scoring and stuff? Because as I call games all the time, I'm always interested. Is that a hit or an error? I'm always waiting for them to put it on the scoreboard before I can actually say it on the broadcast. But I always want to know what's their thinking in that. And what was your thinking when you were doing it?
The easiest way I can explain that, Thrift, is that I was very good at my little corner of the world. I was not a manager. I was not a player. You might be shocked I did not play the game, but I knew what I was doing and I had confidence. And the phrase that you use to determine whether it's a hit or or an error that most people don't know. It's in the rule book. The rule book sat right by me every night. I still have it. And it's ordinary effort. That's why you're not going to give an error on somebody that dives for a ball and misses it. The thing that most people don't know is a ball does not have to be touched for you to get an error. I've heard major league announcers debate that. I'm screaming at the TV, get that rule book. It gives two examples: a fly ball that falls untouched and a ball that goes between the fielder's legs. Both of those are errors. And it says right in the rule book that you might have to ask the manager, which I learned this later on, but I did once or twice, whose responsibility that fly ball was. Did somebody call somebody else off? If you call somebody else off and don't get it in the Kathy Gierer press box, you get an error.
Right.
You know, I had a friend, I went to the Klingstones the other night, and there was a call that I thought should have been gift wrap. They changed it right away. I had a friend that was at the game. He texted me, would you have given that a hit? I said, all caps, no. It was a relatively easy play. And these guys are being paid money to play a little boy's game. They have standards. As far as asking people, very rarely did I, but we were a team in the press box. Whoever, it was me, the newspaper guy, the scoreboard person, if there's any visiting media there. And we all supported each other. We all made sure that doggone scoreboard was always right, because the players, they lie. They say they don't look at it. They do. And it's just important that it be accurate and good. And so I would ask, what did you see? What did you see? What did you see? Because I'm seated, unlike now, at Golden Park. I'm sorry. It will always be Golden Park to me. The press box is on the third base side. That is a travesty. I sat over the plate. Best seat in the house. People talk about best seats in the house. That's where I sit.
Right.
When I first started, Golden Park was like, it had pits, it had rocks.
Yes.
It was terrible. And I learned to watch the fielder. That ball shot up in the air before it ever got to him. He's not responsible for it. So we had Golden Park hits too.
Good deal.
But ordinary effort is what, like Ronald. Ronald Acuna Jr. He's my favorite.
Okay.
Like if he climbs up the wall and he's hanging halfway behind it, and he gets that ball and he comes down with it and he drops it. Well, that's extraordinary effort. So that's what goes into the decision making. I tried to be very decisive because I never wanted anybody to think I didn't know what I was doing.
Kathy Gierer is, of course, our guest this morning on the SportsVisions morning show. And Kathy, with regards to your time and, of course, all of the effort that you put into it, now that you have so many gadgets and so much technology to assist, what would the older Kathy say to the younger Kathy of today? And again, speaking to the younger, we're talking about the young people that are listening to you today as it pertains to being in this business as a scorekeeper, working, period, in the media, and as a journalist, as a writer. What would the Kathy Gierer of today say to the younger Kathy or the younger people that are listening right now?
Your integrity and your professionalism matter a lot. Whether I was interviewing a high school coach, if I'm interviewing a hockey player, if I'm scoring a game, you act like you belong there. And you never lose your temper, which I didn't. Even when I called Cleveland, I was only mildly losing my temper. And the one thing I would say, appreciate instant replay. I didn't have it. I was fortunate to work. I had my daughter do the scoreboard. My daughter was handed a $300,000 scoreboard, brand new, by the owners that bought from Martha in 2001. And it was so fantastic. That was another huge move that we had. The players were out stretching, and we were there like at 4:00 on opening day just to make sure everything was right. Her computer synced with mine. She had 3 slides for every person. His picture, what he'd done for the season, and then what he did today. And the technology updated it every at bat.
Nice.
So the players were stretching before the game. Now we're in low A, and you can see the word filter down that their pictures are going to be up on that jumbotron. It was very exciting and fun. There's a lot of really fun moments.
Yeah, and as a young and up-and-coming broadcaster now, when you're going and asking questions and doing interviews, I ask this for all the people that are, we're journalists. How do you do that fine line of not ruffling feathers, but also asking the tough questions that need to be asked sometimes? You got to be able to do both. You want to maintain a relationship with them to be able to interview them once more, but you can't just give them powder puff questions and ask something that is relevant to what's going on nowadays. So how did you walk that fine line and maintain those relationships?
That's why I think your professionalism and establishing that from the very beginning. Because like I said, when I talked to Max Strong after a loss, that was so hard for me. It just broke my heart. But I tried every time I interviewed somebody to put myself in their place. They might be angry. They might be embarrassed. They might be just furious. You just never know. And I'm pretty good at getting my point across without being aggressive, because my personality is pretty aggressive.
Yes,
but
it is.
If you want to get results, you got to tone that down when you're, if you alienate somebody, you're not only not gonna, they're not going to finish the interview, but you're going to mess up for the future.
Right.
So that's, you do have to walk a fine line. And I loved doing high school. I still did it. Kevin Price was my editor at the end. Chuck Williams was one of my editors. And that Kevin, he knew that once hockey started, I didn't want to do anything but hockey, but he would tempt me and dangle things in front of me that he knew I couldn't resist. Like, I love Gerald Turner. I have Gerald Turner, and is one of my very favorite coaches. Kathy, I know you don't usually do during hockey, but Jordan is playing, in the state championship semis on Saturday, and he already knew that the Cottonmouths were out of town. It was very low blow, but of course I did it.
We up against the clock, but I got to ask you this: to talk about that Cottonmouth experience, Kathy. Again, I know that you mentioned Charlie Morrow, who obviously owned both the teams, baseball team and the hockey team, if I'm not mistaken. But talk about that hockey experience.
Well, I've loved hockey since 1970 when the Flames came to Atlanta. Daddy got a lot of tickets from different people, the vendors and stuff like that. And so if I couldn't find anybody to go with me, I went myself. I actually went by myself to Atlanta. How crazy is that? So we were big Cottonmouth fans. Bruce Garber's wife, Janice, is a close friend of mine. So we were on board from the beginning. And we had a couple of writers that didn't have much of a hockey background. And the seed was planted. I think I could do that. I do. I think I could do it. I had known Jerome since 96.
That's Jerome Boom Boom Bouchard.
Yes, he is clearly the best coach. I worked with him for 10 years. Nothing was off limits. He told me about injuries. He told me about just everything. He never failed to respond, would meet me anywhere, anytime. He was just great. And I knew that he was about to be, heavily involved in this. We didn't know exactly what he was going to do. He was assistant coach at the end of the Cottonmouths. And then, of course, when we went into this new league and everything. So I sat down with the players, with about 6 or 7 of them, getting ready to do my big preview section. And I said, look, I will never pretend to know more about this sport than you do. If I write something that you don't like or you think is absolutely wrong, you know where I'll be. I will live in that tunnel right outside that locker room for the next 6 months. Tell me, don't let it stew. So good communication was the biggest thing. I had only one complete and total jerk in 10 years. And I told Jerome, I said, no, that's fine. I said, but I don't care what he does in a game. He will never have his name mentioned by me. So, you want to get the accolades and you act like a person, but most of them, I've seen them cry. I've seen them in exult, just absolutely thrilled. And the players respected me. It just comes down with professionalism. I actually had the mother of one of them say, you always dress so nicely. You always look so professional. I learned that from my man, John Vogel. Do you remember John Vogel from the paper?
I do.
He was the ultimate hockey writer. He went on to work for the Sabres. So I loved it. It was fantastic. I went on a few trips, covered 2 championships, and it was terrific. It was, the players were, if they were wary, they didn't show it.
Right.
I got you. Kathy, I'm up against the clock, but I'm going to go over because I can. One of our listeners, loyal listeners, Benjamin Watson, and you remember his dad used to officiate high school games.
Sure do.
He says that, are there any stories about CC Sabathia during his time with the Columbus Red Sticks that you have to share?
Now, CC did not actually pitch in Golden Park. He was on our roster for about a month, and he made a couple of starts on the road.
Wow.
But the funniest thing is when he was called up, I saw him coming. He's the size of a small mountain. I saw him walking up the steps, and he was coming to get his music from Steve. I said, Steve, I'll take it down to him. So I'm walking around the back of the suites, and I get to the top, and I just can't tell you, he's just huge and has a smile to match. And I said, here's your CD, CC. I said, how did I say that? And of course, he just laughs. I'm not sure I still got it. I said, best of luck to you. And he got a big smile from him. He is kind of like David Price. David Price finished at Vanderbilt and he came here.
Right.
And he had pitched a ton at Vanderbilt. And we knew he wasn't going to, actually, he didn't pitch at all. David didn't. He just kind of was learning the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
But is that the same Benjamin Watson that played for Georgia?
No, not the same one. No, his dad, he's a local guy. He went to Columbus High. And of course, he teaches over at Central right now. But Kathy,
I didn't know that.
Well, listen, you have made my day. Obviously, anytime that someone with that much knowledge and can recall from those years and those personalities and those people and that period of time, you are one heck of a woman, and you always have been. We appreciate you so much.
Bless your heart. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Have a great day.
That's the great Kathy Gierer.
Wow.
Man,
unbelievable.
You're talking about, did she unlock a few nuggets
This is an interview that's going to be time locked and not going anywhere and will be replayed over and over again.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
I'm sure your dad and me. Your love and mine. All those times I said that I love you.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Good Thursday morning. I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. Columbus police say Operation Overlook led to over 200 arrests, including 11 alleged gang members, and helped drive a 30% drop in major crime citywide, marking a strong start to summer crime prevention efforts. Meanwhile, Georgia's gang prosecution unit secured 4 indictments tied to a violent home invasion in Harris County, marking the first gang charges since a full-time prosecutor was assigned to West Georgia. Officials say it's a warning to gangs targeting small communities. With artificial intelligence expected to replace 83 million jobs in the next 5 years, Georgia leaders and CSU stress the importance of preparing students with real-world experience, emotional intelligence, and adaptive skills to build AI-proof careers and thrive in a rapidly changing job market. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Have a great day.
Good Thursday morning. Watch out for areas of patchy fog. That will improve by mid-morning, then a chance for showers and thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon. A little breezy today with the southwest wind, 5 to 10, gusting up to 15. Highs in the low 90s. Tonight we'll drop down into the low 70s, and for your Friday, a stray shower or two possible in the afternoon. Otherwise, a mixture of sun and clouds and hot with highs in the middle 90s. Don't forget, you can stay up to date with your latest forecast by visiting WRBL.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Hey, get in. What? Who are you? I'm future you. Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Yeah. Mia, our doctor figured it out. She said it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's Denver Broncos 1987 AFC champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Kathy Gierer. I tell you, man, it don't get any better than that. I mean, all the great years that she's put in, man, and of course as a writer and of course as a scorekeeper, the stories that she's able to collect and all the names of the great managers and players that she's been in touch with and in contact with and worked with, man. You can only appreciate that coming from a lady that is so kind and generous to share that information with the SportsVisions Nation.
I completely agree with that, man. And I think this is awesome to see that, and love that we were able to interview her. And you can go back and listen on Apple and Spotify. You can also listen on YouTube and Facebook. Go back and listen right now.
We got a call from Sam Mitchell, who we were going to get a report for the as far as NBA Finals Game 6 tonight. He is on his way to Indianapolis. Got a call from the NBA, and they're going to need him on some of his broadcasting skills and analysis. But he's running a little late, boarding a flight to go up and get up there this morning. And so that time is not going to permit us to have an opportunity to talk to him, but I'm sure that we'll get a chance to hear in the next day or so to hear from Sam Mitchell. But of course, just because obviously the flights and everything this morning, man, I can only imagine at Atlanta airport and trying to get out of there. And again, it's summertime as well. So we'll look forward to hearing, but huge game for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Thrift, with regards to one more victory, and there will be a brand new world champion. Not just a brand new world champion, but a first-time championship in Oklahoma City.
And I think that they have had a historic year. They're trying to get playoff win number 16, win number 84 in the year. Remember, they went 68-14. Unbelievable regular season. They have the biggest point differential out of any team in NBA history. Again, if you try to stack them up with the greatest of all time, I've probably taken quite a few teams over them. But if you look at the stats alone, you can't argue with that, and they're one win away from cementing what has been a great year for them.
Tyrese Halliburton he's gimpy. They're not really saying how bad that strained calf is, but again, he has to be 100%. He has to be the playmaker and, of course, the shooter that he has a score in order for Indianapolis to have a shot. Otherwise, unless you tell me different.
Yeah, no, I mean, McConnell is not bad. DJ McConnell is a very formidable backup center. He had 18 points. I just don't know how good TJ could be for a full game if he is the focal point of offense. It's one thing when you're backup coming in and playing alongside Tyrese or filling in for him. It's another when you are it. You don't even have a backup. Maybe Nembhard has a bigger role. Andrew Nembhard, maybe he can be more of that facilitator. But as long as Tyrese is not 100% healthy, I give the Pacers very little chance to win tonight.
3-2 OKC. And again, all it takes is just one more victory, man, and we'll have a new world champion.
Unbelievable, man, that we have already in the final last two games, and I'm hoping Indiana does win. Let's go game 7 anyway. Sunday night be a lot of fun, but I just don't see it. I think the Thunder end up winning by double digits tonight.
While we're talking basketball, if you hadn't been here to hear what we were talking about earlier in the show, is the fact that the Buss family has made a deal. They've cut a deal. They're going to be selling the Los Angeles Lakers. And again, Mark Walter, who is the majority owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers, is going to in line to make that purchase. And I've heard that all the paperwork is done, just a matter of executing the deal. But again, the Los Angeles Lakers, Jeannie Buss and the Buss family, of course, her dad Jerry Buss, with all the great moves and all the championships that they were able to win from 1979 up until this point, the hands are going to change as far as ownership. And again, they're not going to fall too far from the tree when you talk about an owner already in LA with a successful franchise with Mark Walter, as well as owning the Los Angeles Dodgers.
I think exactly. And we'll see if he's going to have that new owner syndrome and spend a lot of money and go over the luxury tax, which means if you are spending more money than the salary cap, it says this is how much you get to spend for each team. Once you go over that, you have to pay a tax on every single dollar you spend over the salary cap. Now, for most teams that are trying to win a championship, Golden State, you saw this, they had so much money, they didn't care about the luxury tax. That's why the NBA went up even further with the salary cap to give other teams a chance, because you got Golden State who could just keep Kevin Durant, sign Clay, sign Draymond, sign Steph, and keep everybody, because they don't care about that luxury tax. So they wanted to make an even bigger penalty so they can have a fair playing field, which you now have, and you have more teams and more parity than you've probably had in the NBA in quite some time. Problem is, it's not translating to people watching the game because the ratings can't even get above 10 million. And if you would have said that 20 years ago, people would have been in an uproar. David Stern would have put a PSA out saying, we need help, emergency, emergency. But apparently, because how social media is with TikTok and YouTube highlights, Adam Silver still thinks with those numbers on top, though he counts those views on top of what they get just watching a full game, he says we're still getting the exposure just in different ways.
Now, when you talk about guys that are multi-billionaires, and that's with the B, not the M, with the B, billionaires, you considered you print money, and just having a luxury tax or any rule or regulation or fine, that doesn't scare these guys. I mean, these guys are they're high risk guys. They're risk takers. That's what they do. Paying a fine. If you pay a $2 million fine when you're going to make $2 billion, I mean, what is it? What does that mean to you? And that's the same thing when you talk about these players that decide to hold out. A lot of those guys with the big contracts, it might cost them a few $100,000, or it might cost them tens of thousands of dollars to miss a training camp, to miss a mini camp. But when you're making 20, 30, 40 $1 million a year, I mean, obviously, you what do you care? It's going to be a write-off for you anyway. And again, you're proving a point. In the case of these players, you're standing firm because you want a new deal. And with the case of these owners, you want to win because the more money that or the more successful that the team that you put together, the more money that you're going to make, because you're going to go further and have more of an opportunity to win a championship for your city.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why you got to be able to make moves that are going to be successful in trying to win that championship for sure.
And when you're talking about Jenny Buss or the Buss family with the Lakers ownership, you got a team just right across the road there. Again, right across town, the Los Angeles Clippers. Again, they spent money in that ownership group over there, but again, and they didn't have any tolerance for holding back. But they don't have the championships with it the Lakers have now. With Mark Walter coming in, my mind tells me, based on just my my little small knowledge of what he's been able to do in the short time that he's owned the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team, well, of course, to have had a championship. But just think about this. And I know that there's no salary cap, but Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, those are three of the biggest names in the game right now, all assembling in one team in one town. And if he can do that on behalf of the Dodgers, just think of what he will do to help Luka and, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Again, I think that's a great point, but it also shows you why the MLB needs to have a salary cap too.
All right, without further ado, let's go over to the WRBL sports director, broadcasting and coming to you live from the East Side, Jack Patterson. What's up? Good morning, brother.
No side like the East Side, DJ. What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
JP.
Man, we're having a good day over here, getting ready to get things going. And like I said, we're doing good right now. And not to mention, things have changed on the diamond since the last time we talked. So things are going a lot better than what it was when we talked on Tuesday.
I love you because you're humble. I would have came and said, Thrift, you're an idiot. You're a buffoon. You said we were done. What is going on? Now, listen, these are two great wins, and I'm excited. I'm not ready to go over the hill. We're still 12 games behind in the division lead. But with that said, it is a nice sight to see. And maybe that comeback against the Mets on Tuesday night, Jack, that could be the catalyst. And after these 13 games that we talked about heading into July, we could be in a whole different mindset in terms of trying to compete for a maybe division title or playoff run.
Thrift, one thing that you notice in all of the big Braves playoff runs over the last few years, there's been a seminal moment that kind of, started a turnaround. Okay. We all know about the infamous locker room meeting in 2021 in Arizona that sparked what eventually became a World Series run. We know about the pivotal game against the Mets early in the season that led to the major comeback against the Mets in the division in 2022. So there's always been kind of like this pivotal moment that, sparks a run for the Braves. Now, was Tuesday night's game it? I don't know. Only time will tell. But, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the last two games, especially last night, there's just been the teams just looked different, and like I said, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the Braves are going to come back. They're going to, set the world on fire. They might, but at the same time, if there's going to be a spark, that might have been the spark.
You're right. And, man, that performance by Chris Sale, shutting out, the National League East leading New York Mets, and he pitched a little over 8 innings. Of course, Olsen and Acuna. Hey, is Acuna, the way he's playing, man, he's big. He's bouncing back to be, probably I don't know how many games he's been back, but I have to think if you were able to take any, just say he's been back 10 games. If you take any 10-game span in his career, I don't know if he's had any more of a productive span in that time. And I know 10 games is nothing when you're talking about playing 162, but the fact of the matter is that, he's back from an injury, fresh off an injury, and he is hitting bombs and he's playing well, and his batting average is off the charts as well.
Well, I'll do you one better, DJ. He's been back just over 20 games.
Yeah.
And he's hitting nearly 400.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
That's what I'm talking about.
And I want to say he has 8 home runs now, either 8 or 9 home runs now.
Yeah.
Like, he's playing off the charts, and you need him in the situation that the Braves are in. You need him to play off the charts. And then you also need him to help spark the offense. You need, him to, get Ozuna back hot. You need him to get Olsen hot, and you need him to get Riley hot, and you need him to get Michael Harris hot, and then Ozzy Albies as well. And I think you've also seen, in spurts, you've seen those guys start to try to find themselves a little bit at the plate, and you're going to need that. You need them to get going, okay?
Yeah.
The pitching has not really been the problem this year. Yeah, the bullpen has had their issues, okay? We can all say that. But the biggest issue the Braves have had all year, and really for the last 2 years, has been the bats. Trying to figure out where, all the hitting went from that insane 2023 they had, and it's kind of been missing ever since. So you need the bats to show up. And I really do think that if they are starting to find their mojo, that could only bode well for the team. And let's keep in mind, too, the Braves lost a ton of one-run games over the last, let's just say month, okay? If they could turn that around, too, that's going to turn their fortunes around big time.
JP, we got Little League Baseball going on right now, and they got the All-Star Tournament, and actually ends this weekend. Can you update us on what's going on? Have you been able to get out there at all? And what's happening with Little League Baseball All-Star Tournament that's this week?
So that's going to be the mission for this weekend, Thrift. So this is what yesterday and today were all about for me, is getting loaded up on the Little League tournaments, because just when you think, oh, there's a little bit of a lull, guys, there's never a lull around these parts, okay?
No chance, man.
So and, for those who are uninitiated, who may not be familiar, when we say Columbus is a baseball town, we mean Columbus is a baseball town. And we mean that from the top level from the Braves all the way to the lowest levels, because, Columbus has had its share of success in the Little League ranks. We always go back to the 2017 from Northern that won it all. Another Northern team, I want to say it was 2013 or 2015 or something like that made another trip back up there. Yeah. We talk about our teams that have made several trips to the Southeast Regional Tournament and Warner Robins, Harris County being the latest. So, we definitely have our eyes on the District 8 tournament as it get ready to come to a close, and see who's getting ready to make the trip to the state tournament with the opportunity to punch their ticket to Warner Robins as well. So that's going to be something we have our eye on this weekend, especially with them being really the only game in town this weekend, with the Clingstones on the road and, of course, the Braves playing the Mets in Atlanta.
Jack Patterson is the sports director at WRBL, and he is our guest this morning on the SportsVisions Morning Show. Jack, when you talk about Tanner Glisson, again, he's one of our most recent recipients of our SportsVision Summer Awards. Of course, obviously, when school ends and summer comes, a lot of the credit and a lot of the accolades for these champions and these coaches and these players. It's kind of when school gets out, everybody kind of goes in their own corner, and it's not as much coverage. But we are trying to do something a little different here at SportsVision, and recognizing those people that are successful on in the late spring and, of course, into the summer to continue to celebrate them. But the Tanner Glisson that as the great football coach is now a state championship baseball coach. What's your experiences with Tanner Glisson and, of course, his Troup County team?
Well, in Troup County and, us in the media ranks, we just know him as G. Okay.
Yep.
And he's one of the good guys in our area when it comes to coaches. And, you know, we knew that it was not a matter of if, it was a matter of when he would bring a state championship to Troup County. You know, his football teams have come very close. Okay. He's had a couple of teams that have made it to the Final Four. One of my favorite teams I've ever covered was the Final Four team that had Kobe Hudson on it. And, you know, like I said, we knew he was going to be close. You know, we knew he was going to bring a state championship, but to do it on the diamond, and honestly was one of the toughest regions in Class 3A, to be able to bring a state championship on the diamond, you know, that's a major, major deal. And, you know, it couldn't happen to one of the better coaches in our area. And, you know, one thing I've always said is, you know, we are, as media people, we are blessed to have the caliber of coaches that we have in our area, because you have a lot of great coaches who are just good people. Okay. Forget just good coaches. They're just good people. And Tanner's another one of those people. So you're incredibly happy. I was at the game in Rome when they won the state championship. And, you know, his kids fought hard. They had to fight to a game 3. They were down early in that game. Davis Monkis pitched a phenomenal game, pitched a complete game for the Tigers. And then the Bats woke up when they needed to. So, you know, once again, happy for Tanner, happy for the Troup County community. And honestly, they might be one of the teams that we need to be looking out for on the football field as well. As Tanner is looking to do something that very few coaches in our area have done. You know, and the first person I think about when I mention this is win a baseball championship and win a football championship. Y'all know who I'm about to mention. And that's Charles Flowers. So, you know, he has the opportunity to do something like that this year as well. And he's got a team that's capable. Is he in a tough region? Yeah, but he was in a tough region in baseball too. And a lot of those baseball players also play football too. So that's something we're going to be keeping an eye on as we go into the fall.
Absolutely. Jack, before you get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you on social media and when they can look for you on television.
All right. So you see the Twitter handles right below me. You can follow me at JPattersonTV and at WRBL Sports and WRBL News 3 Sports over on Facebook. And you can check out a cool story we did that I did yesterday, heading over to Shaw, the Summer League, the Swoosh League over there this going on this month, and the opportunity to speak with George Williams is a really cool thing that they do over there. And you can catch that story on WRBL.com. There's a link to it on my Twitter and on the News 3 Sports Facebook page. Go check that out. And by the way, shameless plug, we are 8 weeks away from high school football being back in the Chattanooga Valley, y'all.
All right now. All right. We appreciate you, Jack. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, fellas. See you Tuesday.
All right. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 921.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on Sports Visions 92.1.
Minor League Baseball is back in Columbus. Catch Clingstone's baseball every night on SportsVisions 92.1. Your home for the SportsVisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer, the Dan Patrick Show, The Herd with Colin Cowherd, and the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Employee pricing for all is still going strong at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Through July 7th, we're extending your opportunity to pay what we pay across the entire lineup of in-stock Ford trucks and SUVs. Tap into the powerful capabilities of any 2024 Ford F-150 with financing as low as 3.9 APR for 72 months, plus up to $2,750 in retail bonus cash and $1,000 trade assistance on top of already low employee pricing. Or take the whole family on epic adventures with employee pricing on all 2024 Ford Expeditions. Unlock even more unbelievable savings with up to $4,000 customer cash plus 2 years or 24,000 miles prepaid maintenance as you travel in style and comfort. From America, for America. Get outstanding Ford performance at employee prices with Rivertown Ford in our showroom or online at rivertownford.com. Offer ends July 7th, 2025. Not all buyers will qualify. See dealer for complete details.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you're looking for furniture, you need to shop Gorey's Furniture Express. It's the largest furniture store around with over 106,000 square feet of in-stock merchandise with new shipments arriving weekly. Locally owned and operated with everything you need from rugs to recliners to sofas and more. And that's only at Gorey's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here's a great idea. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program and we'll come and remove your car for free. Fast, free towing, and 24-hour response. You can donate most cars, trucks, or SUVs in most conditions. The proceeds raised goes to help active military, veterans, and their families, and you get a tax deduction. All you need to do is make this free call. Get rid of that old car and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now. Donate your car and help veterans and their families. Operators are standing by. Here's the number.
800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. 800-890-7021. That's 800-890-7021.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. 12 to 3 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Speaking of good news, man, boy, we got some good news coming out of Troup County. We got another state championship coach, Tanner Glisson. We got to have him on right now. Let's bring him up right now. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, DJ. Good morning, Thrift. How are you guys doing today?
Man,
Excellent, man.
We're great. We're great. Congratulations, man. And good gracious, man. You win. You just won the state championship. Hell, you don't have much time. You're going to be getting ready to get your football team ready, huh?
DJ, I'm driving into football practice as we speak.
Yep.
And so right now I'm trying to figure out if it's first down or ball 4. And but everything's going good. It's a good problem to have.
Well, we wanted to bring you on because we wanted to congratulate you on, first of all, being a part of our inaugural Sports Vision Summer Awards. I know that you guys, you baseball players in particular, and soccer on the tail end of school year, man, it's not fair that you guys can win championships and be so outstanding and elite, yet we don't have a ceremony or anything to recognize you. But you know what? Your boys here at Sports Visions, we decided to step it up a little bit and make you a part of that inaugural celebration.
Man, DJ, I'm so honored to be a part of that. You know, I've been dealing with Sports Vision now for about 15 years as a head coach of football, and for y'all to recognize these young men in baseball, that's truly an honor for us.
Coach, how do you feel? I mean, this is a state baseball championship, the first one for the school, first one for you. I mean, what's the difference for winning a state championship in football and winning one in baseball?
Well, we've knocked on the door in football. So we hadn't won one here at Troup, but we've knocked on that door. And, the baseball thing kind of fell in my lap 5 years ago. And never in my wildest dreams did I think that we would win a state championship. I thought I was just being a bridge for the next person to come along and take the program and try to get it where it needed to be. And but it's very surreal. It's really, DJ, to be honest with you, a very humbling experience for the simple fact of you realize when all is said and done how many things had to go just right.
Yes.
And you had to have Lady Luck on your side. You had to stay away from injuries. You had to have guys step up in key moments to make big plays. So it's really a very, very humbling experience, to be honest with you.
Tell you what, let's talk a little bit about that series, that championship series, man. Obviously, you guys got out of the gates in game one, got blown out. I mean,
yeah,
blown out in the second game, but you were able to bring it home, man. Talk about that series if you would.
Well, in game one, we played extremely well. And Cherokee Bluff has a really, really good ball team. To be honest with you, if we played them on a normal high school field, we probably would not have won that series. They probably hit 4 or 5 balls that would have been out at any other park. But playing at the minor league stadium up at Rome in that big field, our outfielders are as good as anybody in any classification. If that ball's in the air, those guys are going to go get it. And so that really, really helped us. And game one, Jake Perry pitched outstanding. He only gave up 1 run through the whole playoffs. He was our number one, our ace.
Yeah.
Just really dominant. So we won game 1. Then in game 2, we were there, right there. We had runners on. It was 4-0. But then at that point, when they got to be 5-0, I felt like those guys were swinging it really well. And so I had to make a decision to try to, maybe lose the battle, but win the war. And so we kind of pulled a couple of our arms to try to save those guys for game 3. And so it kind of snowballed. So the large margin of that loss is squarely on my shoulders. But on the flip side of that, you try to win the series, not just a game.
True.
And so there was no doubt in my mind that our guys were going to bounce back for game 3 and be ready to play. And I was hoping we were going to be good enough. And at the end of the day, we were good enough.
Coach, you have a young team. You got a bunch of underclassmen that are going to be coming back for next year, but you do have a senior in Fisher Baltzell. Talk about what his contribution to this team meant, and as one of the leaders on the team, what did he mean to help bring home the state championship this year?
Yeah, Thrift, to be honest with you, we were thinking we were maybe a year ahead of schedule.
Right.
Next year, we're bringing a lot of those guys back, but Fisher started for us since he's been a freshman. He had a couple big home runs in the playoffs, played shortstop. He's going to CVCC to play baseball, obviously. And just a really good player, a guy that had been there, done that a little bit, had been to 3 quarterfinals. So kind of had cut his teeth in the playoffs a little bit. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, I think we have 10 guys that play baseball and football. And so that kind of mentality kind of transferred over into our baseball program. And Fisher was a big part of the senior leadership, which is hard to leave when there's only a couple of seniors. But those guys did a really good job, those 3 seniors, of leading our team.
Coach, let's talk about that transition, because, again, obviously there's people listening out there, but they may be not honing in exactly on how tough it is to transition into winning a state baseball championship just a couple of days ago, a week ago, and then getting ready to start football practice, get your football team together.
Yeah, DJ, it took me, this was my 5th year doing the baseball, and it took me a couple years, even though like we were ultra successful. Year 1, we were 29-5 and got beat in the quarterfinals. So we were successful, but it took me a couple of years to realize how to coach baseball again, to kind of leave my football. I'm very emotional, coach it really hard when it comes to football. I had to kind of leave that in the dugout a little bit, and be smart about how, it's more of a marathon when you're dealing with baseball. But making that transition, growing up in Manchester, if they rolled a ball out, DJ, we just played.
That's right.
Whether it be baseball, football, basketball, it didn't matter. We just played, and I've kind of kept that mentality all my life. Whatever season it was, I enjoyed it. And my wife's a principal. She's a principal here at our feeder middle school. I have 3 kids. One's a volleyball player. She's going to Troy. Just graduated. Just going to go to school. She's not going to play volleyball, but the other 2 are baseball, football kids. And that's just kind of my mentality. I think it goes back to my youth in Manchester. Just when they rolled the ball out, we played.
Coach, you got a tremendous amount of great student athletes, but one in particular who I'm really fond of. He's our AFLAC Student Athlete of the Year because of the grades in the classroom, and of course he's a quarterback and an outfielder on your baseball team. Talk a little bit about Garrison Edwards, if you would.
Well, DJ, there's so many things I can say about Garrison Edwards. Number one, he was the Offensive Player of the Year in this region, and this region in baseball is super tough as it is in football, but when you got LaGrange and Whitewater and Trinity Christian and Mary Parsons, to be the Offensive Player of the Year in that region is outstanding. He hit over 400. He's our leadoff batter, stole like 28 bases, has a 4.0 GPA. And then you cross over to football. He's our quarterback of the football team. He's got 4 or 5 offers. He's been offered by all the service academies. He's been offered by Murray State. Just a phenomenal player. Got hurt last year, got a knee injury up at Whitewater in football and had to miss about 3 games. But he's just as tough as they come. His mom and daddy are both doctors and chiropractors, and it's just an ultra successful family. But he's just a tough kid. He never misses a day. I don't think he's had a day off since we won the state championship. I think he's been to football camps, baseball camps, weight training. I don't think. He doesn't sleep. He just eats, sleeps, and drinks academics and athletics.
That's awesome, Coach. And again, congratulations on winning that state championship. But I do want you to kind of tell our viewing audience, what's it like to be up there in Troup County? I mean, we don't talk about them as much as we want to, but we are now. And I kind of set the stage what it's like up there in Troup County with all the different sports and everything else that goes down and how successful you've been since being the football and baseball coach.
Well, Troup County is just a tremendous athletic, community. Between the three high schools, you got us, Callaway, and LaGrange. I mean, they are all really, really good programs. Very, very competitive. I think we keep each other sharp, because of those rivalries. So that's really a good thing. Typically in some communities you have one program that's dominant and
Right.
others, just all the kids gravitate to one program. That's not really the case here at Troup County. Everybody kind of gets their own. It's very, very competitive. Troup baseball has been good for a long time, just never been able to knock the door down. Went to 2 state championships in the 80s, but to be able to knock that door down is tremendous. Football, we've been pretty consistent. We've been right there. We've been to 2 semifinals. If it wasn't for a man named Trevor Lawrence and a couple of other people, we might have a ring now. But that's okay. We're still working towards that. And we put out a lot of Division I and Division II football players. Got 2 in the NFL right now with Jamari Thrash and Kobe Hudson. But the biggest deal, Thrift, is these parents in this community allow you to coach the kids really hard. They're hard on them at home. And when they send them to us here at Troup, they want us to be really hard on them. And so it's like that kind of thing, hate me now, love me later.
Right.
And we love them really, really hard, but we're really tough on them. And the tougher we are, the more they like it.
If you're just joining us, we have with us, of course, Tanner Glisson. He's the head baseball and football coach at Troup County, the Troup County Tigers. Coach, we usually do this on the front end, but for the benefit of the folks that don't know you on the morning show audience, the morning show nation, or at least the SportsVisions nation, walk us back through your life as far as where you came from, where did you play ball, who were some of the coaches that were instrumental in shaping you into the guy that you are today?
Yeah, absolutely, DJ. I grew up in Manchester, as I spoke of. My dad was an all-state football player at Manchester, and that's all I ever wanted to be, was a football player at Manchester back in the 90s. We played for a state championship when I was there, played in 2 semifinals in 94, 95, 96. And then I graduated, went and played a little JUCO baseball over at Gordon Senior College. After 2 years, I realized I couldn't hit well enough to stay up with those guys. Going back to the Manchester deal, you had just a great coaching staff over there. You had Greg Oglesby, Zeke Geer, Tommy Parks, Jeremy Williams, Chip Metters, all who were ultra successful, whether it be head coaches. Chip Metters turned out to be a principal and assistant superintendent. So after those 2 years, I went back and started community coaching at Manchester for 2 years. And then when Jeremy Williams got the job at Greenville, myself, Chip Metters, and Dale McGee all went to Greenville together.
Wow.
So we were in Greenville for a couple of years. I went down and spent 1 year with Charles Flowers at Shaw. And then after that, I went back to Manchester, eventually became the head coach there. And that was my dream job until Chip Metters, came over here to be the principal at Troup County and twisted my arm and said, "Look, this is a gold mine. You need to come over here and check this thing out." And so I've been over at Troup now for 11 years as the head football coach and 5 years as the head football and the head baseball coach.
Wonderful, Coach. I tell you, that is awesome. That's awesome. Before you go, why don't you give us a preview of what's to come of the Tigers football team this year?
Well, DJ, last year we kind of took our lumps. We were coming off that team with Teo Todd and that group, Quay Birdsong, that was ultra successful. That team had won the first region championship at Troup in 30 years, had been to a semifinal. And last year we had to rebuild. We started a ton of young guys. We only had 9 seniors that graduated from us last year. So on paper, DJ, we ought to be really good. The problem is the head coach hadn't been here in a month. So we're way behind schedule. We're trying to play catch up. This summer, we're going to Georgia State to see Dale and those guys on Thursday for a 7-on-7. We'll be at Georgia Tech the next week and some padded camps. So on paper, DJ, we look really, really good. But you know how it is. We got to go put in that work. And we were missing those 10 baseball, football guys and the head coach this spring. So we got a lot of makeup to do, but, I think we're going to be really competitive, and if things fall our way, we may have a chance.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, congratulations on being a part of the inaugural Sports Vision Summer Awards. You're well-deserved, man.
Thanks, Coach.
DJ Thrift, man, that means a lot. Like I said, being around Sports Vision for, 15 years or more, that really means something to us, and we really thank you guys for what y'all do for our community. Those banquets and things y'all have down there are just second to none.
Thank you so much, Coach, and have a great rest of your morning, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Sounds great, buddy. Go Tigers.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for making us your home for local, regional, national sports talk in the Chattahoochee Valley. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
Thursday morning, I'm Rex Castillo. Here's a look at your morning headlines. Columbus police say Operation Overlook led to over 200 arrests, including 11 alleged gang members, and helped drive a 30% drop in major crime citywide, marking a strong start to summer crime prevention efforts. Meanwhile, Georgia's gang prosecution unit secured 4 indictments tied to a violent home invasion in Harris County, marking the first gang charges since a full-time prosecutor was assigned to West Georgia. Officials say it's a warning to gangs targeting small communities. With artificial intelligence expected to replace 83 million jobs in the next 5 years, Georgia leaders and CSU stress the importance of preparing students with real-world experience, emotional intelligence, and adaptive skills to build AI-proof careers and thrive in a rapidly changing job market. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Have a great day.
Good Thursday morning. Watch out for areas of patchy fog. That will improve by mid-morning, then a chance for showers and thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon. A little breezy today with the southwest wind, 5 to 10, gusting up to 15. Highs in the low 90s. Tonight we'll drop down into the low 70s, and for your Friday, a stray shower or two possible in the afternoon. Otherwise, a mixture of sun and clouds and hot with highs in the middle 90s. Don't forget, you can stay up to date with your latest forecast by visiting WRBL.com.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
If you're looking for furniture, you need to shop Gorey's Furniture Express. It's the largest furniture store around with over 106,000 square feet of in-stock merchandise with new shipments arriving weekly. Locally owned and operated with everything you need from rugs to recliners to sofas and more. And that's only at Gorey's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations, covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Hey there, fellow travelers. It's me, the Hotel Whiz. Before you go anywhere, call me day or night for hotel rates too low to publish. I'll save you up to 75% on over 500,000 hotels across the globe. You see, I've already done the research, so you don't have to spend time online trying to find the best deal. That's up to 75% off. Just call me, the Hotel Whiz. It's a free call, and you get instant access to rates too low to publish with no cancellation fees.
Make a free call now and save up to 75% off your hotel rooms the next time you're going somewhere for business or pleasure. Call the Hotel Whiz now and get instant access to rates too low to publish.
800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. Call the Hotel Whiz right now at 800-710-3739.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products in next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Great morning to be here again to help you get your day started. Let's go right to the phone lines. Of course, our next guest, Jeff Battles, who is the athletic director of Muskogee County School District / he is in construction. Jeff, what is the official name? Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
Wonderful. I love that shirt, man. Obviously, hey, Jeff, listen, man. You are the man. I have never seen you dressed down like that, man. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
He's letting the top up, man.
In the summers, Muskogee County School District shuts down on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We work 4 10-hour days throughout the week, Monday through Thursday. So Thursday's kind of our Friday. And, the last few summers, I'm a big Hawaiian shirt guy. I have several in my closet. My daughters pick on me a little bit for it, but on Thursday in the summer, I try to wear one to work every Friday, and just to get ready for the weekend, get in the right mood,
Absolutely. And I see you got the email because I let you know that I was going to wear mine too, because I'm usually in a SportsVisions, some kind of SportsVision shirt.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Hey, look, Jeff, check this out, man. Look, first of all, congratulations, dude. I understand that you have the another responsibility that you'll be moving into. And can you first of all start out by sharing with everybody, if it's proper, that what exactly all that entails?
Yeah, so I will be transitioning to the director of construction for Muskogee County School District. Muskogee County School District has a construction department, and they oversee new construction, renovations, HVAC upgrades, roofing upgrades, all kinds of modifications to buildings, things like that. And I've been working with that department over the last 5 years on all of the athletic projects that we've done over the last 5 or 6 years. I've kind of been the project manager on those, and so it's going to be a transition, but I think it's going to be a smooth transition. I've already used to working with the department, the people in the department, and now I'll just be moving into a different role with them. Bringing some organization, some structure to that department.
You brought so many great things here to Muskogee County School District, taking over as a citywide AD. Was this, when you took this job, did you think you were going to be doing as long as you have done it? Was this something that was long-term when you took over the citywide AD? And, how's the transition for you? Why did you feel like this was the right time to kind of move forward?
Well, I try not to ever, Thrift, I try not to ever put anything too far. We set 5 long-term goals,
right.
One of the things that I kind of pride myself on is trying to be a visionary. And, every year I'd go to Dr. Lewis, our superintendent, with a 5-year plan of here's what we'd like to accomplish over the next 5 years. And once you do it once, you're really only doing a 1-year plan. You're just adding to the back end of that. So it's not too hard to keep up. But, no, I never set a timeline for myself. I have enjoyed doing what I did as the director of athletics. Really enjoyed it, loved it, loved working with you guys, loved working with all the coaches and the athletes and the parents and the administrators. I've been blessed over the last 10 years to be able to go to work every day and not have to go to work, if you know what I mean.
Right. Jeff, how much involvement how much input will you have in the new director or the new AD?
I will have none. My boss was very clear that I'm going to have no input whatsoever in that process. She was very transparent about there's probably going to be some internal candidates, there's probably going to be some external candidates, and more than likely I'm going to know a lot of them through my interactions with everyone. So in this area and around the state. So she did not want anybody, to feel like there was any bias or anything like that. So I'm not part of the process at all.
So all of those flowers and boxes of candy that's coming in right now, they're coming from some of your colleagues or some of your understudies as we see it.
I would imagine.
But Greg Battles is a guy that played basketball at Columbus High School. Do you remember him, Coach? You remember him? I've made a mistake twice to call you Greg.
But we do get that question a good bit if we are related.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. But you got something coming up here that you want to come on and talk about with regards to athletics, and that's the dual job that you're handling. You're handling both jobs simultaneously. So what you got coming up this summer?
Well, in a couple of weeks, we have a full week of 7-on-7 and flag football tournaments. It's going to kick off on the Tuesday, the 24th, with our middle school flag football tournament. We're going to have several middle schools from not only Muskogee County, but some other places around the area come out and compete in flag football, and just give those young ladies an opportunity to get out there and, compete during the summer and just enhance their skills. Then the following day, that Wednesday, we will host our 7-on-7, our high school 7-on-7. I want to say this is our 8th year hosting this tournament. And Coach Kegler from Spencer is running that for me this year. He's going to do a great job with that. We have several teams around the area in that. And, it's just a fun time for those boys to get out there and compete. And then on Thursday, the 26th, we actually have our middle school 7-on-7 tournament. And we get, we'll probably have 10 middle schools out there throwing it around, showing some of that young talent.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, Jeff, and I'm excited about that coming up. With summer basketball, is there summer baseball that goes on? I did want to ask us as you do with all the with all the sports that you were able to under your tutelage in Muskogee County. I know they got summer league basketball. CSU's got Team Cans. George Williams does his thing. You made mention of 7-on-7. You're one of many other team 7-on-7 camps that's around the state and around the area. What about baseball? Do you know of anything baseball-wise that they do with, summer games?
Well, some of our teams still, our baseball teams come in and work out. They do that during the summer.
Right.
Some of our teams still go play in some high school stuff with team stuff, and a lot of it is weekend tournaments and things of that nature. But most of our players are in their travel ball circuit right now, and honestly, it's a full-time job. Just like a lot of our kids playing AAU right now, it's a full-time job, and they're out there putting in the time, and you got to be careful, especially in baseball. You got to be careful. How much are you pitching? How much are you throwing?
Right.
So we have scaled back a little bit on how many high school games we're playing. We still have a few that do it here and there, just especially with their young kids, bringing their young kids in and getting a feel for them.
Right.
But a lot of those kids are playing travel ball.
Jeff, this is a great opportunity for me to ask you this question regarding the itinerary or the schedule for the summer months. And again, as we know that the first day of football practice officially was underway earlier in the week. But it's as you see it, as you can recollect, what's the steps as far as from mid-June to end the 1st of July and on and into the start of the first football game?
Well, last week was our dead week, our GHSA dead week, which means we can't pretty much have any contact with our student athletes whatsoever. So this Monday, June 2nd, started our first day of summer workouts. I would say that right now, most everybody is either in the gym or on the field in the weight room. I'm gonna tell you guys, this month is an extreme. I don't want to use the word headache, but it's a lot for an athletic director. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of scheduling going on. Everybody wants to get in the weight room. You got volleyball that wants to get in the gym. Basketball wants to be in the gym. The cheerleaders, they need their time to practice. If it rains just a little bit, your football coach wants to come in and do a little work in the gym. So everybody wants some time, and scheduling right now is something that ADs really have to be on top of to make sure everybody's getting that equal amount of time to get in there and work on their trade and get better and get prepared for the season. Now, once you get to July, it slacks off a little bit. It's mostly just the fall sports at that point. But June is when everybody should get in and get better.
Jeff, I know that Shaw has lost their athletic director as well as Carver. I know those two, but if there anybody else, can you tell us who's in? Have there been some reassignments, or new people in place?
Well, we hadn't got any official new people yet. We have some, both schools are working through and working with people. As of right now, they haven't, officially named anybody. We'll be sending out a media release when that happens. But both schools are got people working on athletics, and they're, we're working hand in hand with both of them to make sure, those student athletes are getting everything they need this summer.
As the hardest working man in athletics in Muskogee County, Jeff, what do you plan on doing with the girls and the wife for vacation?
Well, the girls, they're going to the beach in July. So, they're going to take a little beach trip there in July. And so, they're going to have a good time. I don't know if I'll be able to, per se, get away too much this summer as I'm transitioning into that new position. And I'll be learning. I'll be drinking out of a fire hose there for a little bit. So I'll be learning a lot of things, and don't know if I want to, step away too much, but I do have a little trip with the wife planned in the fall. I don't think I'm going to have to be tied up so much on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday anymore. So I got a little short trip planned with the wife this summer and take her down to the beach. And this fall. Take her down to the beach and just get away for a weekend.
Jeff, I do got to ask, as your involvement with sports with this new job, are you still going to be involved? Like, I know you love sports. It's been a big part of your life ever since you got out of high school, man, and been playing in high school and transition to now admin and coach. What's the mindset on just fully stepping away? Or are you still going to be involved some capacity?
Well, Thrift, that's a question I can't answer for you. I don't know. It's one of the scary things about this transition is, this is all I've known my adult life.
Right.
I've been coaching since 1999, and stepping away completely is something I don't know what the future holds. I know that I'm excited to get into this new role as the director of construction and see where it leads me. And then, if the time sets it up where I can, get out and still do some things to help, I certainly probably will be doing that.
I tell you one thing is for sure. And again, I don't know all things in the universe, but this certainly makes sense for me. With all the experience and all the knowledge you have as an athletic director and a coach, it makes no sense for you to be in that building for a new person to come in. They have to be. I know if it was me, you'd be the first person I talk to outside of the superintendent acknowledging the fact that I got the job.
Well, yes, sir, and I will. As y'all know, I try to be an extremely helpful person.
Yep.
I open myself up to ADs and coaches, not only inside Muskogee County, but throughout our area, Alabama and Georgia, and South Georgia, and I try to be helpful as I can. So I plan on continuing that. That's not just part of this role. I try to make that part of who I am as a person. So I'm going to be available, and I don't think my phone number's changing. So if people are still going to be calling me, and that's perfectly fine.
Well, Jeff, we're going to miss you, even though we're going to still see you, man. And we just want to congratulate you on just a tremendous job as an athletic director, and we wish you well on your new endeavor.
Thank you again, Jeff.
Thanks, guys. Y'all enjoy.
I just got the key that let me in. No ID.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show. Let's do this. Sports Visions 92.1.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. My friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now. Without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99. Become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar Wednesday, July 23rd at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at North Lake in Columbus. Stop smoking seminars at 8 p.m. Weight loss seminars at 5:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys. And I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Now back to DJ and Thrift on SportsVisions 92.1.
I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to roll something up.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Happy Juneteenth. What a terrific day. What a terrific show that we've had thus far. Big shout out to Jeff Battles. Big shout out to Tanner Glisson. Big shout out to Kathy Gierer. Man, I tell you, Kathy dropped some nuggets on us, man, that I tell you what, I'm still trying to unroll that, all of that, that she gave me, man. Again, I just got to go back. I'm going to go back and hear it again because, again, she, you know what? She just went from person to person and time periods. I wish I would have had opportunity to say, Kathy, can you date that particular guy? I know what she said, Charlie Morrow, of course, about the Columbus Red Sticks. That was in 93-ish, 94-ish. That was right before the Olympics. They came to town because I know shortly after that, the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame had its first induction and ceremony and all that with this first class. But yeah, those were some great times, man. She took us back and she remembered it like it was yesterday.
I thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with her, man. It was enlightening, educational. It's one for the books that we'll be able to replay for many months to come.
And our friend Tanner Glisson up there, man, he's of course he's going to camps now. They got 7-on-7 camps going on. They've got strength and conditioning, getting ready for football season, man. Again, the Troup County Tigers football team, and shortly, it was short-lived. His baseball championship it's a shame because he really only had a few weeks to really enjoy that, and then of course he was right back to his first love, and that's coaching football.
Yeah, and this guy. Obviously, great AD over there at Troup County, and I think their football team's going to be pretty daggum good this year too, DJ.
Absolutely, and then he said his wife is the principal at the elementary school up there. So again, that's the second duo that we've heard. Of course, we know that Coach Coffey, who we had on in the last few days, his wife is Coach Coffey has taken the new principal job at Stewart County, and of course. His wife is the principal at Quitman.
Yep.
So, again, that's a great
Pretty
tandem.
cool.
And then now, of course, with Tanner Glisson letting us know that his wife is she's the teacher at the elementary school, and he's the principal at the elementary school, and he obviously the athletic director at Troup High School.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, DJ. And then I learned yesterday with Calvin Thomas, his wife is the counselor at Central. It's like if you're in education, you're in education. There's no doubt about it, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Calvin Thomas, you are starting to do, and that was your first round of sitting down with the athletic directors. How did that go?
It went excellent. We're dropping that later tonight. I just thought, obviously, some people are out of town, but I was trying to, where do we want to kick off this series that I started 2 years ago? Sitting with an athletic director, say to the programs, we recap the previous year, talk about the upcoming year. I will say, when I started this, a lot of the reason was just to put content out, DJ, because I didn't cover all the schools. But with this year, covering all the schools, doing all the sports. I mean, it's already out there, but it's always nice to recap, and I wanted to continue this. So Pacelli won 12 state championship, individual and team, this year, from volleyball to flag football, to girls and boys soccer, girls and boys basketball, and individual and wrestling, swimming, golf. I mean, just in tennis, they had an incredible year this year, and they deserve to be one of the first that we talked to when they won that many.
Certainly a year to remember, but but the bottom line, you can't go wrong by, of course, addressing the athletic directors, because that's where the buck stops with athletics in individual school. And of course, when you have a great relationship with the athletic director, and of course having that time to spend with them, again, before that, you really, it was just a touch and go. But that was, from my best estimation, is that was a great opportunity for you to start a network and start a relationship. And it's just easier when you can pick up the phone and call the guy that's over all of them. Not that you don't have a problem with, calling the individual coaches on whether it's soccer, football, baseball, flag football, or whatever. But at AD, generals talk to generals. And again, in the football world or in the athletic spectrum of high school, the athletic director you can't lose by having a relationship with.
Absolutely not. And that, you're right. That was one of the main reasons for doing this, was to establish myself, get to know people. When we started this back in 2023, and now this is year number 3 of this series. And we got Glenwood coming up later on. We got Smith Station next week, Northside next week. So we'll be rocking and rolling. And we're also adding CVCC and CSU to the fold. So 18 different athletic directors in college and high school around the area I'll be sitting with.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I wonder, what's the AD name out at Columbus State, the new guy? We went to the press conference.
And
his name is
slipped both me and DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to find that right now.
I was just about to ask you, I wonder how he's settling in. I know that you were out at the college the other day, last week, talking to Coach Robert Moore, and I thought I saw you
just said hey, and I actually did see, and I said hey to him, and he walked by too. So Justin, I apologize for that, but he's starting to get acclimated. Obviously, he just had his press conference a month ago. He's still barely gotten his feet wet, but he's starting to get around.
That dude is enjoying all of his new gear. He's probably ordering all different shapes and sizes.
He says the biggest thing is he likes going to different places for lunch to find out where the best places to eat are. And I told him, Jimbo Davis knows, obviously, because Jimbo's been around here for a long time. And if he never wants to ask me or DJ, we'll give him some good spots.
No doubt. Because again, one thing about taking new people around, you go to all the hot spots, but they don't go to the, down home spots. They don't go to the ones in the neighborhood, in the back alleys. And, maybe that, I don't know, for safety purposes, they don't, but you know how it is when you go, and I'll give you the best situation with that. When you go on, not necessarily a cruise, but when you go on a trip, whether it's into the islands, and they always tell you, stay away from the locals, but if you want the best food and you want the best experience, you want to take and then maybe somebody that works on the resort or in the hotel, and somebody that you see and can establish a relationship with, and then have them escort you and say, hey, look, I want to get some real island food. I want to go to where you guys, where you really party or hang out. And then, of course, if you got somebody to watch your back like that works at the hotel or that's affiliated with, the group or the resort, then it's safe. But otherwise, you can't, just go, scurrying down into the, into the woods, into the weeds, with, by yourself looking for the best places. But my point is, you got to have somebody that's from here that knows the different neighborhoods and know the different areas of town. And you could get, some real authentic cooking from Columbus if you know the right people and if you have them to share that with you. Because again, most of the chains, most of the restaurants, again, high end, sometimes simple is better.
Yeah, and I like the mom and pop shops, man, and I like the locally owned businesses.
Yeah.
The chains are great, and I know Jim and Hicks is moving here. The big barbecue restaurant from Auburn, Raising Cane's,
right?
Big chicken place in Florida. So they'll be here. So I get it. I know we want to continue adding those chain restaurants that are across the country that may not be here, but the locally owned ones are the ones that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Just for the sake of saying, just kind of wishing out loud. Hey, if you had all the money that you needed to start a brand new restaurant, what kind of restaurant would it be?
I love pizza and Italian, so it would be an Italian place. And there's a new Italian place, by the way, around here called Gabagool.
Yeah.
And if you like The Sopranos, Gabagool.
I heard you talk about that before.
Yeah, and Gabagool. And so we've tried going there last week, and it was an hour and a half wait. So it's one of those hot, new upcoming restaurants right there off Broadway, DJ near Kilwins. So if you want to go and try that out, but mine would definitely be Italian. Natalie's actually talked about this, my girlfriend, and I think she would do more of like a Cuban restaurant because we don't have any of those around here is what I'm thinking. And she's got a lot of family members that love making homemade Cuban dishes, which if you've never had one of those, DJ, that Caribbean food is absolutely delicious.
Absolutely. And again, as far as I'm concerned, I like a nice meal. Soul food is always good. When you got collard greens, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, something. I used to eat that stuff probably a couple of days a week. But thank goodness my wife saved my life and introduced me some healthier styles of eating. And so I'm now totally different than I was not too long ago. But I have to have a version of that top hat chicken. I got to bring that chicken back. And I don't know whether, you know what, and I got my thing and my best. And again, they always say, if you got an idea, don't tell anybody. But again, hey, if somebody beats me to it, and then that'll be quicker to go in and get a taste of that top hat chicken. But the original building downtown where it is right behind Sconiers, right there you know what I'm talking about, the folks that know. I would, the building on the exterior, it looks great. I don't know. I have no idea what it looks like on the inside, but I would, if I had the money to do it, I would go in and reopen that place up. I wouldn't open up a restaurant. I love the fact that you used to just go right in, pick up your sandwich and get the hell on. And I had a couple of booths and, if you want to sit around, but it wasn't a sit down kind of deal.
No,
late night after you've gone out to a ball game or in those days, it was a little party at Prince Hall right there for those of us who was of age. And I mean, that spot I remember. And again, I've heard certain versions of that top hat chicken here and there. There's a couple of people in town that have the recipe or close to what the recipe is. I know I have two people in particular that
I've actually tried some of that top hat chicken because of UD.
Yep. But you can't beat it. It's hot, spicy chicken. I love the wings. I love the breast sandwiches. Just a piece of fried chicken that's spiced up really good. Slap that between two pieces of white bread. And, man, hey, you go to town, whether it's a wang sandwich with 3 wings or 3 wangs, as I used to say, or if it's a double breast, they call it double breast sandwich. Those folks who are out there listening, they probably snickering in their cars. They remember those days, man.
Can I get the breast sandwich?
Give me a double breast. Yeah, those are the days, man. Top hat chicken. And that's what I would bring back. But
man.
Yeah. But I mean, high end, right? If you were, I know you said pizza, but if you were gonna do the gobbledygoob or whatever, But if you were gonna do a high end restaurant, I like to find the finer things in life. But you know what? For a lot of times, and maybe I've not gone to the right places. You just, I don't get enough for my bang for my buck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I made $100 dinner, which very rarely do I do, I mean, I want to make sure I've left unsatisfied too many times.
Exactly. And I want to be able to enjoy what I'm paying for.
For $100 a plate, $7,500 a plate.
I'm leaving out there for $300 bill.
And that's not even the most expensive places. No. I mean, goodness gracious, you have a little cutesy piece of fruit here and some berries over there, and then you get half a piece of a lamb chop and maybe a half a scoop of baked potatoes with some kind of fancy gravy, and they slide you a check for $175.
Yeah,
I haven't been to any place like that, but that's what I've seen. That's what I've heard about.
I've been to several places, and there are some here that you get your bang for your buck. You are paying a lot, but you also get some delicious food and a lot of it. One of my favorite places is I love steak and I love Italian food, and there's a Italian steakhouse called Mabella's around here, DJ. And
we got to stop calling names of these places, man, because obviously they need to be advertising with us.
Well,
we can make them really.
There we go.
The bottom line is that if we mentioned in the names of restaurants, and again, it's all about marketing and promotions, and you know what, they can cover the cost of our meal and help for us to say that, and they'll probably have 10, 15, 20 people come through it in a week.
Yeah.
So what's that, a drop in the bucket? So yeah, we got to back up a little bit. I know I've been very generous in mentioning names of places but it's only fair. I mean, again, like I said, that's a small price to pay for me, you, Natalie, and of course Miss Candy to go out, they spend $300-$400 on on our dinner, and then of course we are the reasons why 30, 40, 50 couples go in to. I mean, come on, do the math. Do the math.
That's
man.
it, man.
Why y'all?
Come on,
man. We gotta get out of here. We gotta take our last break. Of the day.
We got to.
Our final break of the day. You are watching Facebook Live. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, it's Dan Patrick. Thanks for waking up with the SportsVisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Catch me at 9 a.m. every weekday morning, right here on SportsVisions 92.1.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters in auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters in auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to save.
It's summertime, and that means it's time for cookouts and company relaxing outside. So that means it's time for you to pay a visit to Gory's luxurious outdoor patio. Shop their beautiful outdoor furniture that's made to last season after season. Sofas, love seats, and even outdoor recliners. And that's only at Gory's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, 12 to 3 on SportsVisions 92.1. Now back to the SportsVisions Morning Show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the SportsVisions Morning Show, the final segment of today. And man, what a fantastic day. One day away from it's the weekend.
TGIF.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, we just had a wonderful week. Just so many wonderful guests. So much wonderful information that we were able to share with the SportsVisions Nation and beyond. And Thrift, I tell you, you know what? Game 6 of the NBA is finals is tonight. And again, who are you pushing your poker chips toward?
I am taking the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oklahoma.
I don't think that the Pacers have a chance without Tyrese Halliburton. What about you, D?
I love SGA, and I think that he will get it done tonight. I want him to get it done tonight with Oklahoma City. But for whatever reason, something tells me that the drama will come into play somehow, some way. They could go to Game 7.
And if they do, I would thoroughly enjoy that. And I'm wondering where would the ratings stack up compared to other Game 7s. But I just think the Thunder smell blood in the water. And the Pacers had their opportunity. If they'd have won that game for it, they could have lost Game 5. They'd still be up 3-2 right now, looking to close it out. Now without Tyrese, they're going to have Hooker.
What is that? Did I say
Herculean? That's the word I'm looking for.
Herculean.
He's going to have a fantastic game. Siakam and Nembhard for them to be able to take down the Thunder.
Absolutely. Hey, man, just a tremendous day. Want to thank Candy Lowe, of course, coming on, giving us a nice presentation on Juneteenth and all of the things she has coming up down in Tampa, as well as it pertains to the Black Business Bus Tour and the Tea and Conversation, and, of course, just all the likes. And Kathy Gierer, man, again, big shout out. And again, if you missed Kathy Gierer today, earlier this morning at 7 o'clock, please go back. And it's a must see. Obviously, the nuggets that she dropped, and again, all the different people in just the way she was able to recall the information is brilliant. Thrift, and for those folks out there that are listening, please let them know where they can find this interview.
Yeah, you can go back on Apple and Spotify. You listen commercial free, also on Facebook and YouTube, and download that SportsVisions radio app in your app store today.
Once again, congratulations to Coach Tanner Glisson again winning the state championship. Also being a part of the inaugural class, or at least an inaugural event, the SportsVisions Summer Awards. Of course, the Summer Awards luncheon will be, of course, kicking off next year, June 2026. And we'll be, of course, happy to entertain you and, of course, honor and celebrate all of those athletes and coaches next summer. Also, Jack Patterson was on the scene, and again, he gave us something to think about as Jack, of course, complimented Tanner, as well as talked about some of the other things with the Braves. And again, this could be it. I told you guys not to give up on these Braves. I think it's it. I think this turnaround, or this surge, starting with the New York Mets, is the start of something great, and we're going to see one of the great turnarounds in baseball history by the Atlanta Braves.
I think so too. I'm hoping so. I don't know if I think so, but I'm hoping so. I'm ready to turn around my nasty attitude and let these Braves try to prove me wrong, which I'm okay with. I want them in the playoffs, and I want them relevant.
Thrift, what do you got planned for today? Obviously, again, I know that it's not as busy as usual, but I'm sure you got something up.
Yeah, so I'll be at CSU. The Coach Hauser, the girls coach, is hosting the girls team camp. So you're going to be able to see Shaw, Smith-Station Central, and Harris County girls playing at the CSU team camp tonight. And then later on, our first Sitting with an Athletic Director State of the Programs with Calvin Thomas dropping tonight.
Also, the SportsVisions and the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live show that we did the other day.
Yeah, it's still on there. Go to our SportsVisions Facebook page, Georgia-Alabama Sports Live Facebook page, and both our YouTubes. It's up. It's there. Go in and tune in. It was a fantastic time at Synovus Park.
All right, you hear the music. You know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the SportsVision Morning Show. On behalf of Thrift Barringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
But I need some last.
You've been listening to the SportsVisions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is SportsVisions 92.1.
Join me out of my